We know how tough they were on us a couple of years ago. They led Auburn 17-0 in the first quarter because Auburn was overlooking them. If we overlook Middle Tennessee, they could do the same thing to us. If you're not careful, you can get yourself beat. So you just got to tend to your business.
While Florida State heeds the wisdom of Bobby Bowden, All-American Terrell Buckley has been all business. His record-setting defensive heroics elevating play in the Seminoles secondary to new heights and carrying FSU to a perfect record. Earning the Heisman Trophy is serious business to quarterback Casey Weldon, who launched another volley of touchdown strikes while FSU's Kevin Knox came of age as the top-ranked Noles charged to 6-0 a week ago. And today, FSU's first order of business is stopping a weaving and bobbing tailback named Joe Campbell of MTSU. Sun-splashed autumn afternoon, Seminole fans have come by the tens of thousands to homecoming, and Joe Campbell Stadium will be full today as Prime Network presents the Blue Raiders of Middle Tennessee State University and America's top team in the Garnet and Gold of Florida State. A pleasant good afternoon to you and yours. With Pete Jones, I'm Paul Kennedy. Middle Tennessee State out of 1AA football ranks. The Ohio Valley Conference comes in here at 4-1. FSU, as you know, with the nation's longest winning streak, a perfect 6-0. Any team that faced the top-ranked Seminoles would be a decided underdog. Oklahoma, Nebraska, whomever. Imagine a 1AA ball club in MTSU and the odds on them winning here today. Well, their head coach, Boots Donnelly, has matched Bobby Bowden quip for quip. I think he has the right frame of mind as he stalks the giant in Florida State.
Well, I really think he does. And, of course, Coach Bowden known for his quotes. Donnelly coming in here saying, "Now, wait a minute, guys, this game's not even going to start unless you give me my paycheck before we kick off." So he's going to lay some lines on, and hopefully his team will lay some licks on the Seminoles today.
He's going to get $250,000 for playing this game. Well, he will be challenged to stop a $1 million back for Florida State by the name of Amp Lee, who today guns for his 4th consecutive 100-yard rushing day.
Not been done in a while. He's got 3 in a row, and Amp really doing well this year. He's got almost 600 yards in the 6 games for Florida State, showing some great moves. We saw some acceleration, some big runs, and today's the day that you get your statistics and you get your yeoman's work in, and Amp Lee's, I think, is going to be prepared for that.
A guy who's done a yeoman's job at linebacker is Kirk Carruthers, the senior. What is this, 60 tackles in 6 games? He's had some tremendous afternoons for Florida State.
He really has come back into age. He played real well as a sophomore, did not do well last year, and now has come back into age as a leader. And with him and Jones in the middle there, they're really performing well, Kirk especially.
We mentioned Florida State's Amp Lee. What about Joe Campbell, who wears number 21 for Middle Tennessee State University?
Well, when MTSU has the ball, don't go get a soda out of the refrigerator. This guy can play. We talk about Amp Lee. Joe Campbell's got 14 100-plus yard games. He's got 3,300 yards rushing in his career. He can really motor the ball, move the ball. Very quick, small, remind you of Dexter Carter.
And as you look at Scott Boykin, for the 2nd consecutive year, this is a guy who can stop the football. He is Middle Tennessee State's leading tackler. Quite a linebacker inside.
Really not that big, 5'11", 210, but very agile, very mobile, and as Coach Jake Gaither from Florida A&M would say, he's probably going to play hostile today as well.
Down on the field today, it's a beautiful day at Joe Campbell Stadium. Once again, here is Barry Milligan, I know, enjoying homecoming in Tallahassee.
That's right, Paul. It's absolutely beautiful here today. And, Florida State, besides being a prohibitive favorite, enters today's game with a lot of unbeaten string. The Seminoles actually 14-0 over the last 2.5 seasons or so here at Joe Campbell Stadium. Currently, the Seminoles also have the longest Division 1A winning streak at 12 games. Also, Bobby Bowden, undefeated as a head coach here at Florida State in homecoming games at 15-0. And a lot of people will tell you the reason the Seminoles are 12-0 and have that long winning streak is because of quarterback Casey Weldon. Since coming on as a starter midway through the last season, Casey Weldon 12-0 as a starter. And I don't think today, Paul, it'll be 13-0. It won't be unlucky, 13 for FSU.
Prime Network presents Middle Tennessee State and America's top team, FSU. Brought to you by Coors Light. The Silver Bullet won't slow you down. It's the right here now. Visit your Florida Jeep Eagle dealer and rediscover America. And by NCNB, National Bank of Florida, the loan source. Middle Tennessee State University has come to Tallahassee today facing the Florida State Seminoles. FSU ranked number 1 in the Division I poll in 1AA football. Middle Tennessee State ranked 7th. MTSU won the toss and has deferred. FSU will get the football first. And kicking off for the Blue Raiders, who wears number 6 on his jersey, Garth Petrilli. And he chops at the ball. It is a short kick, and the fair catch called for and made at the 37-yard line by Steve Gilmer. An up man, as the Blue Raiders do not want to give either Tiger McMillan or Marquette Smith the ball in the open field. Here comes Casey Weldon, FSU's quarterback, who has thrown 15 touchdown passes this year. Let's take a look at the other FSU starters. Shannon Baker, the flanker, who wears number 1 on his jersey, will start, as will Kevin Knox for the first time today. Kevin Mancini, the very vocal leader of that offensive line, will anchor the right side our first snap of the day, and Weldon is going airborne. He sets up a screen, and underneath, here's Amp Lee with a convoy. He's across midfield, the flag goes down, and Amp Lee goes down at the 43-yard line. The tackle made by Jamie Redmond, the cornerback from a 3-man secondary.
Have a holding on the offense, 10 yards from the spot.
Our referee today is Courtney Mousy, and Keith, let's see if we can pick up the holding call on FSU.
Unfortunately, you might want to keep your eye on number 81 and Garnett. Kevin Knox getting his first starting job. I think he's on the right-hand side of the screen if it were to play, and gets flagged on his first starting play.
The defensive 11 for MTSU in an 8-man front. Randy Houston is an ornery cuss. He is in the middle. And the linebacking core, pretty good. Jabbar Troutman, a freshman out of Knoxville, Tennessee, and Scott Boykin. And a 3-deep secondary, which will be tested and draw passes today from Weldon. Tough to cover, Keith. Andre Boykin, by the way, is a cousin of Scott Boykin. Tough to cover a guy with his ability who's thrown for close to 1,500 yards this year. Cracked as he drives the middle is Edgar Bennett, the senior 3-year Letterman fullback, knocked off his feet by Scott Boykin, the linebacker. It is second down.
Boykin will come after you from his inside linebacker position. The Blue Raiders, actually run about an 8-man front, or what looks like an 8-man front. Watch him come straight in from his inside linebacker position with help from some teammates, and Bennett goes down for short gain.
A new center over the football today, Robert Stevenson, the junior, replacing Roddy Baker at that position. Weldon, the short drop over the middle, in and out of the hands of Lonnie Johnson, the tight end. A big target at 6'3", 224 pounds. A ball that was catchable. It is third down for FSU.
Last week, Casey Weldon missing or overthrowing some receivers. Looks like he's on target back inside to Johnson. He does have to turn and reach back to his left, but he doesn't drop very many. Coach Bowden, as he looks on there, one of the things he was concerned about was intensity coming into today. You'll see lack of intensity with drop passes if that's the case.
The Seminoles need 3 on third down. Can Amp Lee get him? He's darting outside. Can he turn the corner? And just did pick up the first down across the 45 to the 47-yard line. But Middle Tennessee State University did a fine job of stretching that play all the way across the field, and only Amp Lee's phenomenal speed earned the first down.
As I mentioned earlier, the Blue Raiders will run what normal people would call an 8-man front. 4 down linemen, 3 linebackers, and then a strong safety moved up in a linebacker-type position, and they try to string everything out, make you run it east and west, as Amp Lee had to do there, but fortunately for Florida State, able to pick up about 4 yards in a 3rd and 3 situation.
Sophomore Kevin Knox, number 81 to the bottom of your screen, coming this way for a twin set 2 is Shannon Baker. 2 outstanding receivers. Play action. Weldon, a lot of time. Out of the backfield, here is Lee at the 49, and he slips at the 48-yard line. Went underneath, did Lee, or rather Weldon, and he was throwing to Bennett rather than Amp Lee. It's a pickup of about 5 on the play. Bennett, who is the second leading receiver for FSU this year, Keith, has great hands. This took a long time, however, to develop.
Weldon going to probably his number 3 read. Bennett out of the backfield, makes his 18th reception, trying to turn upfield and slips just a little bit on the turf. Weldon going to his backs quite often in the first 6 ball games of this year.
Opening possession, Weldon to the far side for Baker, who hauls it in at the 35, shoved out of bounds at the 34-yard line by Adrian Owens. Bobby Bowden told Shannon Baker this week that he had arrived at Florida State, the junior flanker. It had taken a while for the junior from Lakeland to really make his mark, but those 2 phenomenal grabs against Syracuse and a big week last week. He's now FSU's top receiver. That was his 20th catch of the year.
Excellent pass by Weldon. Baker had not even begun to get into his break when Weldon released the ball. Perfectly on target. Baker brings it in. First down.
A gain of 14. Weldon floating it down the boundary. Bennett at the 10, the 9, 5, 4-yard line. First and goal, Florida State. Danny Lawrence, the left end for MTSU out of Niceville, Florida, ran him down. They got the fullback in Bennett, who has tremendous speed as well. Isolated Keith on a linebacker.
And you mentioned Lawrence. He's listed as the left end or defensive end. He's actually the strong safety, Paul. One-on-one coverage, underneath coverage with 3 deep secondary and help in the back, but he's unable to stay up with Bennett down near the goal line.
43 yards and 2 snaps for the Noles. Weldon needs 4 more yards for a score, and he can't get it. Looking for Baker. The pass broken up by Jamie Redmond. Did they call that a touchdown? It's called a touchdown. Jamie Redmond can't believe it, and neither can I. I'd love to see another look at this. Baker held that ball for maybe a second, and Redmond, number 30, went to break it up. I thought he had.
Redmond starting ahead of the normal starter, Kerry Jackson. Watch Weldon throw the ball out. Watch the ball over Baker's head. Redmond will knock it out of his hands. Does he have it long enough?
Oh, no way. That's called a touchdown. The extra point by Jerry Thomas. It's good. 7-0, FSU. Weldon has thrown a TD strike, and we'll be back with more after this from Coors Light. The Silver Bullet won't slow you down. It's the right here now. Earn its first score of the day on somewhat of a controversial play. Weldon, the 4-yard strike to Shannon Baker for Shannon's 2nd touchdown reception of this 1991 campaign. Back deep, Walter Dunson, number 16, the fastest man on this Blue Raiders squad. He stands inside the 5, will field it at the 2, and here he comes. Across the 10, 15, 20, hit and stacked up at the 20 and pushed back. And from that point, MTSU will go on offense. John Davis, the strong safety, led the charge following a 19-yard return. Another look at this score. Does Baker have possession long enough?
Now remember, he only has to hold it in the end zone for a second. Let's watch the catch. 1, 2. A very close call, Paul, but I have to say that the official in the back judge, had a good call on it. I believe he had it long enough for the score. 7 plays, 63 yards, just a little over 2 minutes.
Kelly Holcomb, a freshman quarterback. Under center, Walt Crowder, Joe Campbell, very dangerous behind him, play action to Campbell. Holcomb on the first snap, goes into the air and wide open as Steve Dark is tight end upfield at the 35. And Holcomb there, misconnection. There is Holcomb. He has thrown only 2 touchdown passes this year. He's all of 18 years old from Fayetteville, Tennessee, just south of Nashville. Joe Campbell is a 1AA All-American tailback position, the Ohio Valley Conference Offensive Player of the Year. Tracy Majors, a senior 3-year letterman from Nashville, anchors the offensive front. 2nd down and 10. Craig James goes in motion. The pitch comes back to Campbell. Campbell 5, 6, 7, and more. That's a 12-yard gain on his first carry. Leon Fowler from the Seminole secondary made the stop, but it's first down, MTSU. James Chaney, the man in the middle, flanked by Henry Ostazuski and Carl Simpson. Reggie Freeman leads FSU in sacks, an excellent linebacking core. And a new-look secondary, especially at the strong safety position, as Levon Brown today opens there. And you see Errol McCorvey, who will be tested with Terrell Buckley needing but 1 more interception to establish the all-time Florida State career record with 16 with a fresh set of downs. Down the line option for a quarterback Holcomb, and not much there for the tailback and Campbell. Second down, and Levon Brown on the stop. Reggie Freeman tattooed Holcomb as he pitches the ball.
Naked option. Holcomb just coming out, working down the line, and Freeman greeting him to Campbell Stadium. Welcome to Tallahassee. You know, MTSU hasn't been in Florida since 1969, Paul. That's the last time the Blue Raiders were in the Sunshine State, and Reggie saying hello.
Pickup of one on the play. Still that eye set. Play action again by Holcomb. Look out. Moves up, throws it complete to Crowder out of the backfield. First down. MTSU, and Crowder takes a hit at the 45, upfield to the 48-yard line. Kurt Carruthers on the tackle, the linebacker. But Crowder, the only fullback, he is a fullback in America who wears number 1 on his jersey. I promise you, 5'9", 190, not fullback size, but good hands.
Good downfield coverage. The pocket collapses. Holcomb moves up. Crowder's wide open in the open field. Now watch the low center of gravity. Dinkins misses, and Carruthers drags him down 5 yards later.
The gain is of 16 for Boots Donnelly and his MTSU Raiders. James in motion. 2 yards shy of midfield. The draw to Campbell. Hit in the backfield, and he'll be fortunate to get back to the line of scrimmage. I don't think he did. Campbell stacked up Howard Dinkins, the outside linebacker, hit him first. Carruthers was there as well. When you look at Joe Campbell, number 21 for MTSU, you're talking about a guy who has rushed for better than 100 yards for Boots Donnelly and company on 14 separate occasions. Last week, 101 yards and 2 touchdowns against Austin Peay.
Has had 3 200-yard games in his career as well.
Tremendous quickness and great balance. 2nd and 11. He did lose a yard out of the backfield to Campbell. Good move. It carries him across midfield. You see the darting and dashing, the elusiveness. He's to the Florida State 45-yard line before Bobby Bowden's Errol McCorvey out of the secondary chopped him down. Leon Fowler helped out as well from the secondary.
We talked about it in the opening. McCorvey and company are going to have some problems with Campbell. Just picture Garnet and Gold and Dexter Carter, and that's what you got with Campbell. Watch his quick feet, shoulders, jitterbuggish in his moves, just sidesteps, works around people. He does have, by the way, Paul, very good speed. He doesn't have just quickness. He's got good foot speed when he gets in the open field.
The 7th play unfolding here of this drive, down a touchdown. Play action, Holcomb with time, down the middle, caught a great grab. Vince Parks inside the 25 to the 23. The junior from Whitesburg, Georgia. An all-Ohio Valley Conference receiver and the top pass catcher for MTSU. Slanting over the middle. The gain on the play of 23 yards.
Good patience by Kelly Holcomb to wait for Parks to clear. Watch him clear the people, and then right over Carruthers, right in front of the defensive back, and Parks grabs the ball and turns upfield. 18 receptions coming into today's ball game. Paul had a 63-yard reception last week, so he can get downfield.
Now in scoring range at the FSU 22. James breaks in motion, and the fullback in Crowder is hammered at the line of scrimmage by Henry Ostaszewski. Ostaszewski, number 74, nearly got to Crowder before Holcomb did with the football. Bobby Bowden saying that Ostaszewski playing his best football, now a senior, since his sophomore year.
Ostaszewski, Chaney, and Carl Simpson on the interior line there. All 3 in the last 3 or 4 weeks playing good ball. Ostaszewski with good penetration actually gets in the backfield before the exchange can take place and totally destroys the play.
A loss of 2. Wing right formation, lone setback Crowder. The man on the wing, Campbell. Holcomb being pressured. He'll be sacked back at the 36-yard line. Pulled down by Carl Simpson. Simpson with his 4th sack of the year. The junior from Baxley, Georgia. So worst thing that can happen to an offense at this position on the football field is to suffer a quarterback sack.
Short drop by Holcomb, looking to hit somebody quick. No one open. Simpson, good job of pinching inside, getting inside the offensive lineman, working upfield. The junior out of, you said, as you mentioned, Paul, Baxley records his 4th sack.
Dan Footman is in the game as well. It's 3rd and 22 now. The sack cost him 8 yards. Backpedaling, setting. Here comes the heat. He gets it away. In and out of the hands of Steve Dark, his tight end. And that's to FSU's benefit, for Dark coming across the middle, had daylight in front of it. Dan Footman, along with Carl Simpson, there applied pressure and forced the pass, but still a good job by Holcomb to get it away.
A lot of real estate behind Dark. You'll see Holcomb look around. Dark is open. Just drops the ball. He might have gone all the way had he picked it up. He had beaten the inside move, with an inside move, had beaten the Florida State defender and was headed upfield.
Garth Petrilli will attempt here a 51-yard field goal, and he did not hit it well. It rolls into the end zone touchback. His longest this year was 39 yards. So a bit out of his distance for Garth Petrilli. And Florida State will own the football. It owns the scoreboard now, 7-0, as Boots talks to his young kicker. Bobby Bowden with 211 victories. Undefeated, as Barry Milligan told us, at homecoming games. When you talk about Bowden, you mention him in the same breath with Bear Bryant, Amos Alonzo Stagg, Pop Warner, Woody Hayes, Bo Schembechler, Joe Paterno. Those are the only men who have won more games than Bobby Bowden in the history of this sport. Welded on first down. Ampli darts outside. Turns on the motor. And covers 13 yards. First down, Knowles. Adrian Owens, the sophomore cornerback from College Park, Georgia, cut him down and rolled him into the MTSU sideline.
Shannon Baker with an outstanding block that time. Watch Ampli turn it outside, and then he looks like he's not moving very fast, folks, but trust me, you're not going to catch him. As he works outside, watch number 1 with a great block. Shannon Baker on number 40, Danny Lawrence, allowing Lee to get outside and very smoothly picks up 13.
Looking for his 4th consecutive 100-yard rushing day today, not since Sammy Smith performed that feat in 1987. As the backs strung together as many 100-yard afternoons. Edgar Bennett works the left side for 7, perhaps 8 more. Mike Caldwell, a junior, right in on the stop.
Bennett with not a lot of rushing yardage this year, has only touched the ball rushing 60 times, but I tell you what, if you're a football fan and a fullback fan or an all-purpose back fan, you've got to like Edgar Bennett. Rushes, catches, blocks, is a leader, and collects stuffed animals as well.
6 yards on the carry. Teddy bears, I think it is. 2nd and 4. Weldon over the middle he goes, and it's caught. Is it ruled a catch by Kevin Knox? No, incomplete. Now, Knox had that ball longer than Baker had his for the score. Defensively, Andre Boykin there, number 24. The free safety was defending.
They're going to confer, the officials, one rule in a catch and one rule in a drop. You'll get a good look at it here. Again, the ball's cradled, it's turned over, he's on the ground, and the defender pulls it out. That's a catch, should be ruled down about the 35-yard line. Won't get a good look, we don't think, from this angle. Let's see. Got the ball. I stand corrected. The ball was on the ground right there. Knox rolls over into the pit of his stomach, and then the defender tears it out, and they're going to give him the catch.
Now, Boots Donnelly will be livid about this. The back judge, Kevin Mack, came running in, signaling incomplete. But he was later overruled after a conference. And the gain is of 16. And you have to feel for Boots after what happened with Shannon Baker and now this catch. Timeout on the field. We'll return with more in a moment. Driving on its 2nd possession now, aided by catches, if this was indeed a catch, by Kevin Knox.
Looks like the ball's on the ground as we look at it right there. The ball's on the ground. Knox rolls over. The ball comes into the pit of his stomach, and then the defensive back rakes it out. But I believe that the ball was on the ground before he rolled over, and Boots Donnelly and his staff complaining to the officials, having to take a timeout because of some disarray on the defensive side of the ball. I think Boots, I got to be on your side on that one.
He was out during our timeout, waving his arms vehemently, immolating the back judge, Kevin Max. And this is what you said. You said it was incomplete. Well, Nonetheless, it's a 17-yard gain, and Casey Weldon's having a big afternoon. 6 for 7 for 84 yards. Florida State, 1st and 10 at the 30. Here comes Bennett, cut down in the backfield. Nice play there by Scott Boykin. Stepped up, hit him knee high. At 5'11", 210, not great size for Boykin, but he's made a lot of tackles for MTSU. Had 8 last week against the Governors from Austin Peay.
Watch him just rip up the field. Get down low on Bennett, about the only place you can bring him down by yourself. Out of Carrollton, Georgia. Makes the tackle for little or no gain.
Baker and Knox, the twin receivers, to the top of your picture. Play action. Weldon looks, up the boundary, go! Bennett again! Inside the 5 to the 2. Twice in a row, Florida State has hit that play for big yardage. Jamie Redmond shoved him out of bounds shy of the goal line as he picks up 28 yards.
Florida State going twin receivers to the wide side, going back to the short side with play action. Bennett just out of the backfield and up the sidelines. 3 deep secondary trying to cover him with either a strong safety or a linebacker, and you're going to lose that battle about 99 times out of 100 if Weldon and Bennett execute.
You saw for MTSU, Mike Caldwell. He was listed as a right end, but as Keith says, more like a strong safety linebacker, was trying to catch him. 3 tight ends in the game for FSU, and no touchdown. Big hit. Bennett and Boykin went head-to-head. Look at that headgear there, Keith. You think he's tatered a few people with that helmet?
That ain't from putting it on the locker room, folks. That's from putting it on some opposing ball players. Great read by Boykin that time. Just shoots his right gap, and before Bennett can even get the ball cradled and adjusted, he brings him down for a loss. There's about, probably, Paul, the starting 22 on MTSU. There's probably 15 of them that can play at the 1A level. He's one of them.
The Noles took 7 plays to score in their opening possession. This is the 7th play here, and it's over the head of Lonnie Johnson with the flag flying as well into the end zone. The tight end Johnson, the intended receiver, and Weldon just missed him. Redmond was there from the secondary for MTSU.
Casey knowing he was much too late throwing that ball. When you're down close and you're trying to get the fade, especially to the tight end, you got to get rid of it a little quicker. The Zebras conferring down here. Pass interference, but on who?
We can pick up that
pass interference call was an uncatchable forward pass. We'll disregard it.
That explains that. They had whistled Redmond for interfering with Johnson and then overruled it because Weldon's pass was nowhere near the intended target.
Little rule change a couple, 3, 4 years ago. The ball has to be catchable in college for there to be pass interference.
That man there could take a comedy show on the road and support himself. He has taken Florida by storm with his quips and one-liners, and a lot of fun to listen to. Lee in trouble. He'll lose yardage back to the 5-6 yard line. A swarming Blue Raider defense cuts down Florida State's top tailback for a loss of 2 on the play. If FSU wants to run that horse, meaning Renegade, after every touchdown, we're liable to get him killed from exhaustion, said Boots Donnelly. Florida State should be more concerned with the Humane Society than us. Here is Dan Mowry. Bobby Bowden has shown the patience of a pope with this young man. Mowry, as you know, has struggled. Here, attempting a 23-yard field goal, angled to his left, and Bowden's patience paying off. The field goal is good. FSU leads 10-0. Homecoming, and it's a beautiful day in Tallahassee. Previous ball games had surrendered only 1 touchdown, only 7 points in the first quarter all year long. They've given up 10 already to FSU, which leads, as you see. And here comes the kickoff from Mowry, booting it to Walter Dunson. Dunson running up a very short kick. He fields it a yard shy of the 20, ahead to the 25, spins out of a tackle, and he's to the 30-31 yard line. A fine return. He told his coach, did Dunson, that he was going to break one today because he thought he'd be returning about 10-15 kickoffs. that Florida State be kicking off that often. Let's go down to Barry Milligan on the field.
Well, Paul, there was some real discussion between head coach Bobby Bowden and offensive coordinator Brad Scott over whether to go for the field goal or not. Given all the problems that Dan Mowry has had with his field goal kicking, there was some feeling that if the Seminoles got inside the 15, even the 10, they might go for it on 4th down. But against MTSU, they wanted to give the true freshman a shot to get his confidence up, and he's 1 for 1. Has to be a big one.
Kelly Holcomb's confidence has to be very strong. Now he's taken MTSU on one march, gets away from a tackler, and it's dropped by Walter Crowder in the flat at the 29-yard line out of the backfield. Holcomb has been effective eluding tacklers. Crowder has shown us earlier that he can catch too. Holcomb with 3 completions and 6 tries for 47 yards. And watch the nice move, Keith, to get away from an FSU defender.
Good mobility in the pocket. He's 6'3", 170 is Holcomb. Not great speed. He's not an option-type quarterback, although he can run effectively. But his strength right now is movement in the pocket, eluding the rush.
2nd down and 10. Lone setback. Burt Myers now, the fullback. And Myers falls on the football, which came loose. The senior 3-year letterman from Pikeville, Tennessee, replacing Crowder. Pounced on it. It's 3rd down now. 3rd and 12. And what MTSU has to do to keep the score respectable, and Booth said that earlier in the week, not turn the ball over, hold on to it as long as we can, keep FSU's offense off the field. Could use a gainer here. Needs 13. 3rd and 12. MTSU is converted on 3rd down once in 2 opportunities today. And a flag. See if the play clock expired. May have taken too much time.
One of the things that the Blue Raiders will do.
Dead ball. Delay of the game on the offense. 5 yards. Still 3rd down.
They'll use as much of the 25-second clock as they can. Again, back to what you alluded to earlier, Paul, trying to keep Florida State's offense on the bench, off the field. That time just a little too casual or too cautious and trying to eat up that 25-second clock.
Florida State has faced some great quarterbacks this year. Ty Detmer of Brigham Young, Elvis Gerbaugh, Michigan, Will Fuhr last week, Virginia Tech. He's a good one. Now the youngster in Holcomb. Underneath, Dark is tight end, catches it. Close to a 1st down. He has a 1st down. Ahead to the 43-yard line. McCorvey on the stop.
Dark led the Blue Raiders in receiving last year, 1990. Had 17 catches coming into the day. Watch him just drag across the middle. Holcomb just runs right up to him. He's wide open. I don't know if it's busted coverage or just a very, very loose zone, but a lot of real estate for Steve Dark as he moves upfield for the 1st down.
1AA football. Middle Tennessee State was ranked number 1 at the end of last season, although they didn't win the championship. And as you see behind Nevada Reno, currently the number 7 slot. 1st and 10, down 10-0. And Joe Campbell is wrapped up and taken down for a loss of 2. Hit by Troy Sanders, number 62, the junior from Elba, Alabama. It's his 15th tackle of the year for Troy. We'll see a lot of defenders for Mickey Andrews' defensive unit today.
Deep handoff, and before Campbell can even get back to the line of scrimmage good, Sanders has defeated his blocker, moved inside, gets his shoulders squared, and attacks the ball carrier.
2nd again and 12. TSU needs to earn some positive yardage on 1st down. On the screen, Campbell uses his block well, and Clifton Abraham put a shot to him at the 48 to knock him back. I asked Bobby Bowden, as well as Mickey Andrews, of all the players they've had this year, who has developed the furthest? And they pointed to Clifton Abraham, the man that made the tackle there, the freshman, corner from Dallas, Texas, number 2. Made great strides, Keith.
He's got some good people in front of him, of course, with McCorvey and Buckley, but getting good playing time. You'll see him move upfield and get down low where the ball carrier is as Campbell goes down and deliver a little shot to him.
3rd and 5, the 1st unit. Defense is in there, and they'll be coming. A play called at the line of scrimmage. Holcomb, play action. He gets it away quickly. He's got a man open, and he overshoots Vince Parks at the 25-yard line. McCorvey had him in man coverage. Parks has great speed, and he had a step on McCorvey. Already has one grab today, Keith. A big gainer of 22 yards. Threatened here again.
This is the old post pattern. Earlier he'd caught the ball on what I call the old square in route. That time the post pattern had McCorvey by about a step. Good coverage though.
The first punting situation for Joel Alsobrook. Redshirt freshman. He averages 38 yards a kick. His best effort this year, 54 yards. Kicking to very dangerous Terrell Buckley. He hit this one. A beautiful punt into the end zone, touchback. That sailed 52 yards, 2 yards shy of his season best. Alsobrook comes through in the clutch, and Florida State has to go the long way.
Thing looked like a Casey Weldon bomb. Got the nose up and then turned the nose over, did Alsobrook on that punt. And had it not been for the end zone, would have had about a 60-yarder.
Shannon Baker on a 4-yard grab from Casey Weldon. Mowry with the field goal. Jerry Thomas with the extra point, replacing Mowry for those duties today, although Dan will also handle kickoffs as he has today. Here comes Weldon. Only missed twice connecting to receivers. Has thrown for 112 yards, and Ampley, looking for a 100-yard rushing afternoon, has to dart around a bit in the backfield to find a sliver of daylight and earn a couple of yards.
Weldon sacked 5 times last week against Virginia Tech. Did not have the best of his performances as well. The whole Florida State offense, while they did gain about 400 yards, it just didn't fire on all cylinders. Weldon's come out hot today, though.
Casey has thrown at least 2 touchdown passes in every game this year. Had a pair last week against Virginia Tech. Throwing deep, his receiver went down and picked off. Fryer fell down, and the defender in Jamie Redmond goes high into the air and grabs it at the FSU 42-yard line. The intended receiver was Matt Fryer. Weldon put it up there, a very catchable ball, and then Weldon watches with us. Fryer slip.
Corner route, he breaks off, kind of loses his footing. If he doesn't fall down, he either goes up for the ball or deflects it out of the way of Redmond. But Redmond right there with the opportunity brings it in, and MTSU set on the Florida State 42-yard line.
Only the 4th interception this year suffered by Weldon in 7 games now. The pitch to Cabell gets a great block. And then it turns into but a 2-yard gain when Leon Fowler comes out of the secondary. Second down. But for the first time in a while, MTSU with a positive gainer on first down.
Fowler in there on the tackle, Phil in the alley, getting his first start in 3 or 4 weeks.
Florida State with the crowd of better than 60,000 fans having to be pleased. Leading here, Keith, as the first quarter has come to an end. Our score as we head toward the second period in Doak Campbell Stadium. FSU leading MTSU 10-0. The end around. The pitch is to Vince Parks. And Parks has a first down inside the 35 to the 30-yard line. First, the quips by head coach Boots Donnelly to steal some of Bobby Bowden's trademark one-liners, and now perhaps a trick play, the end around for the first keep. It's right out of FSU's playbook.
Coming right back at you to what you do well. Poor tackling there by Fowler as he overruns it. Dinkins does a good job of reversing himself and forcing it outside. Let's look at the play earlier that set up MTSU. Fryer gets tied up there about the 42-yard line, and Redmond just goes up and brings it down. Opportunity. He's enjoying it right there on the bench.
Yeah, he had a bad hamstring. Wasn't expected to start today, but he's playing. Again behind Steve Dart, who was open in front of McCorvey. The top target this year, one of the top targets for Holcomb, has been Dart, his tight end. And yet Dart today has caught only 1 pass. He has had 4 come his way.
A couple of drops as Dark and 1 overthrow by Holcomb as you look at him there. Number 2, as you mentioned, coming in, 17 receptions coming into today's ball game, just 1 behind Vince Parks. And we're talking with Mickey Andrews yesterday, defensive coordinator for Florida State. He said these guys can catch, and Holcomb can throw. They are not a bad football team.
Inside the 30, down 10-0. Holcomb on the option. Here's Campbell with daylight. 25-20, 15-10, yards, and MTSU is sky high and on the scoreboard.
You mentioned it earlier that Campbell had great quickness. I had alluded to the fact that he also possessed great speed. You saw it there.
Petrelli to add the point after. Out of the snap by Patterson. Alsobrook puts it down, and Petrelli knocks it home. More from Doak Campbell in a moment as we invite you to visit your Florida Jeep Eagle dealer and rediscover America. Better than 60,000 fans in Doak Campbell Stadium racing untouched 29 yards for a touchdown.
Watch him outrun the pursuit angles. Fowler can't get to him. Pursuit can't get to him. Terrell Buckley's matched up man-on-man downfield. Campbell just hurdles him when he gets down close to the goal line, and 29 yards later in pay dirt.
All that after the interception by Jamie Redmond. Casey Weldon. Aaron Doak Campbell. For Florida State, Tiger McMillan on the far side, along with Marquette Smith for FSU. Check that. That is not Tiger McMillan. Felix Harris, kickoff return duties, and as he did the first time, Petrelli chops it very short. And for Florida State, as he did the first time, that's Steve Gilmer with the fair catch. Weldon looking to atone for that interception, which really wasn't his fault, and the receiver slipped, as we have documented. Has the football back, and will be in business first and 10. The line of scrimmage spotted at the 32-yard line. Yes, Doak Campbell is the home of the original tomahawk chop, although we wish the Atlanta Braves well as they enter the World Series for the first time ever in the history of the franchise in Atlanta. Congratulations. Not much on the right side for Amp Lee. Scott Boykin, the linebacker, another tackle. Second down.
If you're going to beat MTSU, you're going to have to beat them coming right at them. And number 50 right there, Scott Boykin's going to be right there to meet you. Watch him work from the left-hand side all the way back across to the right. Initial hit made by the defensive tackle, and Boykin there to mop up.
Pickup of 2 for Bobby Bowden's troops as Kez McCorvey comes to the near right side, number 88. Bottom of your screen, Baker. Up top, play action. Weldon with a bullet. Caught by McCorvey. First down. Upfield at the Seminole 45-yard line. He hooked in front of Adrian Owen. And the pickup on the play is good for 11 yards.
Watch it right into your living room. Ground level look. Curl pattern from the rifleman. McCorvey doing a good job of playing Olsen, the catcher for Atlanta. Brings that ball in and cradles it. Just a freshman.
That's the first catch of the day for McCorvey and his 11th of the season. The freshman from Garnier, Mississippi, from his 47-yard line. Over the middle, Baker with daylight. A man in the flat right at the first down marker. And Jamie Redmond makes the open field stop. And very close to the first down. That play has worked well for FSU throughout this 7-game season, Keith. Running Baker or Knox over the middle on the delay or the simple slant?
Running them on the delay, just underneath the linebackers behind the defensive line. Watch Baker get out here and try to fake out number 30, Jamie Redmond. Redmond will have nothing to do with it. Squares him up, puts his helmet right in his breastplate, and brings Baker down, even with all that speed.
Baker's third catch today. And the way they stretch the chains, he'll be about the length of the football, if not less, shy of the first down. This is a 10-7 football game. We're in the second quarter at Doak Campbell Stadium in Tallahassee.
About 2 links short there, Paul. Chain links, that is. Homecoming 91.
The parade yesterday was spectacular, the largest ever on the FSU campus. Mother Nature has been very kind. The weather has been magnificent. Marching Chiefs will perform at halftime. We'll have that for you.
Along with the alumni band.
Casey Weldon performing right now. Second getting a yard, he's going for more. He's throwing deep, looking for Baker, who has one touchdown catch today. He has it down at the 2-yard line. The defender on the play, Owens, is saying Baker pushed off. Then he's shoving from behind. No, says the official, it's first and goal FSU.
We've talked about it before, the concentration of the Florida State receivers. Let's get another look at it. Not a great pass by Weldon. Airs it out. There is a contact towards the end of the ball's flight, but Baker comes up with it. The officials rule no interference. Florida State's in business on about the 1.5.
Longest gain of the afternoon, good for 42 yards. 3 tight ends now, and Hart, Johnson, and Cloward. Bennett cannot find the end zone. Second and goal. James McKenzie, a freshman, left guard on the defensive side of the ball, made the stop. Was there pass interference? Look at this kid.
Both of them going for the ball. A little push there by Baker. Didn't extend his arms, but did brace himself in order to get separation. No call by the official.
The man on the wing is Warren Hart, 3 tight ends. The pitch is to Antley, looking for daylight, finds it, scores. Touchdown FSU. The toss to the left side, and Antley just waits on his block and propels Florida State to a 16-7 lead over MTSU.
Watch it go away from you. Lee working deep in the backfield, gets a block outside, and then as he has done so often, walks into the end zone.
For the 26th game, Ampley has scored a touchdown. It's 17-7. FSU at homecoming in Tallahassee. Once again stretched its lead to 10. Casey Weldon, the bomb of 42 yards to Shannon Baker, set up first and goal, and Ampley was more than delighted to punch it in.
Eludes one would-be tackler and then kind of waltzes into the end zone from a couple of 3 yards out.
Dan Mowry hits it very high, and Dunson, 4 yards into the end zone, will down it on one knee as the flag flies. We'll check that out for you.
Florida State guilty of offsides on the kickoff.
If that's the case, the Boots would obviously push FSU back, make him kick it again.
Got a good return man in Dunson.
On the kicking team.
Number 16 for the Blue Raiders, averaging 29 yards per return. Has broken an 83-yarder already this year.
This is the largest crowd that Boots and his team have played in front of in the history of the university. Boots is an MTSU alumnus. He said there are more people here in the stadium today than are in all of Rutherford County, where Murfreesboro is nestled.
I was doing a little statistical work. There's more people here today than MTSU has played in front of in their first 5 games total this year.
Well, he has to be proud of the way that Middle Tennessee has hung in there with a team that is, in some circles, a 60-point favorite.
Folks wondering why Florida State playing MTSU. Florida State actually lucky in order to be able to get MTSU on the schedule, with Auburn dropping out as they did. The home-and-home series for 10 years had been signed with Auburn. Auburn electing an escape clause in the early part of this year. Sent a $40,000 check and said, no thanks, we don't want to play you guys.
Florida State with the nation's longest winning streak at 12 games. And the last team it lost to was Auburn. The last time these two teams met, and that was, of course, at Auburn. Here comes Dunson again. He won't reach the 20-yard line. Well, maybe he does on second effort. Hey, there's a fighter for you. And Walter Dunson, the junior. 5'9", 170.
Dunson, the number 2 rusher, plays behind Campbell. Also doing duty or performing on the kickoff return team.
Holcomb, a 50% completion rate against an excellent secondary. MTSU has not turned the ball over today. Florida State has. An interception. The tight end in Parks, or Dark rather, now set to the near left side. Back goes Holcomb. Here comes the heat. He gets it away. Flag goes down, and it's off the fingertips of Burt Myers, who is then crushed by John Davis, the strong safety. May have come across the line of scrimmage, or may have holding. Which one will it be?
Field on the offense.
An eligible receiver downfield will cost MTSU a down and yardage. A rare time they've been penalized today, only the second time. The ball will be spotted at the 11-yard line. And to bring up first down and 15 yards to go.
Holcomb again showing good mobility in the pocket. 18-year-old freshman going against the number 5 ranked defense in the country. Showing good poise and good mobility.
Tracy Majors, the senior 3-year Letterman center, leads the Blue Raiders out over the football. James in motion. Down the line option. Campbell to the 20. Campbell sidelines 25-30. Upfield 34-yard line. That's a first down. We have seen Joe Campbell score a touchdown today, galloping unmolested 29 yards. He has just ripped off 18 more, Barry Milligan, as we check in on the sideline.
Well, Paul, after the Casey Weldon interception, the offense responded with a big drive and a touchdown. Defensively, after MTSU scored its touchdown, Mickey Andrews was all over his crew, that they weren't playing very intensely. The defensive line wasn't getting the kind of pressure it needed to. I think something of that has to do with Joe Campbell, who is now just about 300 yards shy of being the all-time MTSU rusher.
Florida State is ranked 3rd in the nation in rushing defense. They've had their eyes open today. A sack, a loose football, a fumble. Florida State has it. Joe Ostraszewski at the 23. Troy Sanders stripped the ball free of Kelly Holcomb. And Big Joe, number 75, owns the first turnover committed by MTSU, and it couldn't have come at a better time with the Blue Raiders trying to develop some momentum, starting to.
Good pressure from the outside, and Sanders, number 62, Holcomb just drops the ball, and Big Joe right there to pounce on it. Once he gets that knee curled up and those shoulders flat to the ground, take a crane to get to that football.
It's 1st and 10 for Florida State. The football back, leading 17-7. It rests at the MTSU 23. Pryor and McCorvey, the receivers. Weldon gunning toward the end zone, has it caught by Knox at the 9-yard line. Kevin Knox for a first down, 1st and goal, FSU, and Knox is slow getting back to his feet.
I think he got poked in the eyes. He got twirled around there. See him covering, holding his right eye. Weldon just a hair late throwing this ball, but what a great pass. Right on the line. Knox with great concentration. Watch him come across. He's going to get hit right in the eye there. Inadvertent, not a face mask or anything, but the defender just slaps at his helmet, gets him in the eye. And you see him trotting off. I'm sure he'll be back.
Bobby Bowden starting Knox for the first time in his career today. Knox had caught 9 passes in the last 2 games. Bowden said he deserved the promotion. It comes coincidentally on the same weekend as Lawrence Dawsey starts for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. His first career start in the NFL. He played the same position as Knox. The split end for FSU. 1st and goal at the 9. Inside handoff, and Bennett takes a pretty solid hit. He's wrapped up the 9-yard line.
Blue Raiders only given up 126 yards through the air, 179 yards on the ground for a total of a little over 300 yards. Averaging but 11 points giving up or yielding per game. They can play at their level, as we showed on an earlier screen, number 7 in their division. They'll come after and hit you. They're not going to roll over and play dead.
Trying to hold Florida State to a field goal here. Motion on the offensive line. MTSU immediately jumped. Could have been Kevin Mancini for Florida State, the senior right tackle that moved first.
Dead ball. False start on the offense. 5 yards. Still second down.
Florida State going to go with the quick count. As you see Coach Bobby Bowden there and offensive coordinator Brad Scott. Mancini gets set. The wave was going on right down there in the end zone. And by the time Mancini got set, somebody jumped up and yelled, "Woo!" He jumped.
Did you see Casey Weldon say something to Mancini when he came back to the huddle? Mancini is supposed to be the vocal one for FSU. I think he was doing a lot of listening there. Casey Weldon saying, "Tighten that middle nut." Only misfired 3 times, approaching the 200-yard plateau at second and goal at the 13. Hit as he releases. He overshoots the intended receiver, and Kes McCorvey open at the goal line. It's third down, and Weldon is hot. The pressure came from the inside. Lem Collins, a senior right guard, I believe was the man that got through. As you see the isolation here.
There's a little defensive holding, excuse me, a little defensive holding. Adrian Owens grabbing McCorvey. You see the tail end of it there. Good pressure, no call, no completion. Third down.
Confusion in the secondary. Bring Chris Harris. Terry Jackson. Wide open this time, and it's dropped again. Warren Hart. In and out of his hands. When you aren't focused, when you aren't concentrating, you commit penalties, you drop passes. That's exactly what happened to Florida State in that series. And Dan Mowry will try and salvage something out of this with a 32-yard field goal, dead on, out of the hole to Brad Johnson. The snapper is Steve Allen. Snapping with a bad finger today. Kick is in the air. The kick is good, just inside the upright. It's a 20-7 game, but the Seminoles are not delighted. They could have had 7. Back with more after this on Prime Network. Today, 1-yard field goal as Florida State's lead now at 13, 20-7. But the Noles, pretty frustrated. They didn't come away with a touchdown here.
Hart reasonably open, Weldon reasonably high, but nevertheless a ball that should have been caught. You know, Paul, last week the Florida State coach was talking about lack of concentration. The intensity was there against Virginia Tech, but no concentration. It'll be interesting to see how they rate this one.
Bobby Bowden, as he's wont to do when he is the decided favorite in a game, took his team onto the practice field this week, Keith, and they went first-string offense against first-string defense, and the hitting was ferocious throughout the week.
Oftentimes, if you're preparing for a big game, a Miami, a Florida, Syracuse, a Michigan, you don't want to get your guys beat up, and sometimes the offense will never practice with the defense. They'll only go against the scout squad and vice versa. In games when you're a heavy favorite going against Boots Donnelly and his club, you got to stay sharp, and what you do is you put 1s against 1s and 2s against 2s to try to stay focused.
The last time MTSU had the ball, their quarterback, Kelly Holcomb, was stripped of it. He sets up the screen here, and Campbell can't hold on to it. Florida State had it well defended. Nonetheless, Campbell's having a big first half. I mentioned the fact that FSU on defense is ranked 5th in the nation overall, 3rd against the run. It's averaging, surrendering, but 75 yards a game on the ground. Now, Campbell already has 55 yards against that defense today in 7 carries. And a touchdown. Bryce Abbott joined the linebacking corps, number 23, the junior out of Tifton, Georgia for Florida State. 2nd and 10. Holcomb. Pulled it down and got yanked down. The sack by Reggie Freeman. His team best, 5th of the year. And that was a secondary sack, Keith. For the defensive secondary, had everybody covered, and Holcomb ran out of time.
Good outside pressure by Freeman as he beats the offensive tackle. Number 75, Tony Gaines. Freeman goes about 237. Gaines, believe it or not, only about 238. Freeman able to beat him outside, and Holcomb stepping up in the pocket, but not able to get away from Reggie.
Loss on the play of 2. 3rd and needing a dozen with 9 minutes to go in the first half. Holcomb brings James in motion, pitches it to Campbell. He gets a block. He won't have the first down. They'll be left about 3 yards shy. And it's 4th down. And also Brook is on to punt. Carruthers made the tackle for Florida State, the inside linebacker. This game, if you're a Seminole fan, settling into its proper perspective now. And this is where historically Florida State has broken games wide open. Terrell Buckley would love to bring a punt back the distance. Also, Brooks hit one of 52 yards today. He's kicking here against a heavy rush.
Buckley only averaging, as he walks away from the ball, a little over 7 yards per return. A guy with a plus 14 plus yard average on punt returns for his first 2 years. He'd like to get the ball and get something going with it.
Well, he didn't hit that 7-iron well, Keith, but he got a lot of roll out of it. Went about 53 yards, so 52 and 53 yards in 2 efforts.
Kind of like my 7-iron, you know, that 200-yard sculled 7-iron that I possess.
Weldon from the 26-yard line with the football, leading by 2 touchdowns at 20-7. 8:03 remaining. Hope you'll stick around at halftime. We have a lot in store for you. A new backfield, by the way. Paul Moore at fullback, Sean Jackson at the tail. Here's Jackson with the football for the first time. Cuts inside the 30, close to the first down marker at the 35. Redmond, that familiar figure in the secondary for the Blue Raiders, on the tackle. The numbers for the sophomore letterman from New Orleans, Louisiana, in Sean Jackson, who is the 3rd leading rusher on the year for FSU.
Great block downfield, if you caught it there, from Paul Moore on Scott Boykin, the linebacker. But there's a flag on the play, and Florida State's going to march backwards a little bit.
The 4th penalty today in less than a half of football. And after last week's performance, Bobby Bowden said, well, he was willing to shake that one off against Virginia Tech because he has a great deal of respect for the Hokies. But I'm sure that he is quite concerned with the dropped passes and the holding calls, the mistakes that he's made on offense. Weldon on the roll, fires, Knox. Good grab at 28-yard line. Kevin Knox has said that he went to the library this week and watched video on Fred Biletnikoff. Biletnikoff, like Knox, with deceptive speed. It's Kevin Knox, only a sophomore, that is patterning himself after this man. From Steve Tinsey, a generation ago in the Gator Bowl against Oklahoma. 4 touchdowns and a 36-19 bowl win for FSU. Spanning the generation. Knox and Biletnikoff. 2nd and 7. Looking Knox's way. Kevin can't hold on. Well, the man who played here was Fred Biletnikoff, who had this to say about his days at FSU.
I think we're fortunate enough that the one thing we did have, we had a great coaching staff, which Bowden was part of, and we had Bill Peterson, we had Don James, John Cota. We had a bunch of coaches, and we had an outstanding team, and we were able to play well enough to get to the Gator Bowl and bring home a win and sort of get Florida State out in front of the public. And from then on, you know, the ball's been carried by Bowden, and he keeps getting better and better every year, which is impressive. And you know, I got to put up with a few of these guys from Notre Dame and other Tennessee and other people around here, you know. But I keep quiet because I know, you know, that Florida State's going to go all the way this year. Okay.
Now with the Los Angeles Raiders is Fred Biletnikoff here at homecoming, and that pass was nearly picked off, intended for Knox, nearly grabbed by Scott Boykin. The Noles are not hitting on all cylinders today. Here is Scott Player, the 5th-year senior, forced to punt 8 times last week, a season high against Virginia Tech. Well worn. Orlando Crenshaw. Crenshaw has his face mask pulled up to the 35-yard line. There's the flag. Out across the Noles even more. A 47-yard punt, a low-line drive with a 10-yard return. Another mistake on the penalty. Crenshaw's only 5'5". Really got his head taken off.
Face mask, 5 yards on the kicking team. Still be a first down.
You know, Paul, you mentioned Volitnikov. As we watch the replay here, we'll get to it in a minute. Watch Kilmer, number 6, reach out and just grab him with the left hand and then let go, and that's the reason it's only 5 yards versus hanging on had been 15. Volitnikov is with the Los Angeles Raiders. You know, the architect of the 1980 defense, the one that I played on that this 91 group is being compared against, is also with the Raiders, Jack Stanton. So a former FSU player and a former FSU coach at the pro level out in the West Coast.
You talk about who you played with. You know, that 1980 defense was ranked number 1 in all the world of college football. Bowden says this defensive unit coming into this game is playing the best it's had since that time, since an FSU team had. Trick play here, and scooting across the 40 up to the 45-yard line, Walter Dunson. That was the old Statue of Liberty play.
Bringing out all the tricks.
Hey, we had Volitnikov talking about a generation ago. They pulled out the Statue of Liberty, and had he not fumbled, this may have been a huge gainer.
Dunston actually takes the ball with Holcomb holding it behind him, just underneath. A great block downfield allows him to turn up. A missed tackle there by Bryce Abbott, and it's 2nd and 4.
How big is the touchdown grab by Baker, which was ruled for a score? I didn't think it was a catch. Keith did. If you don't have that, this may be a 13-7 game. First down, Steve Dark, if he gets the mark at midfield. Holcomb, considering the fact that last year he was playing high school football in Fayetteville, Tennessee, is impressing me with his poise and confidence and performance against FSU, the number 1 team in all the nation.
Mickey Andrews said the only problem with Holcomb is he just hasn't been to war long enough. When he gets a few more games under his belt, he's going to be more than dangerous.
He'll be Sergeant York. 1st and 10 right on that 50-yard line stripe. James trots in motion, down the line option. He fires it back to Campbell. That wasn't a pitch. That was a jump pass. And Campbell earns 3-4 yards. Did you see that pitch? If Campbell doesn't catch it, it rolls all the way back to the 30-yard line.
Either that or wedges in his face mask there, as you see him. Watch him jump up and just throw it. Can't get it underhand, we'll throw it overhand. Good move by Campbell to elude a couple of tacklers. Boy, you got to be impressed with Joe Campbell, number 21. 3,300 yards in his career.
Gained 6 there, Keith, excuse me. We'll make that 4. We'll give him 4 on the play at 2nd and 6. Holcomb again with time. And now he runs out of time. Troy Sanders on the sack. That's the 2nd sack today. You know, had he pulled that ball down and run with it, it looked as if he had a notion to do that initially, and he didn't. He had running room a good 10, 15 yards in front of him.
On the left-hand side, he's not a scrambling quarterback. He just possesses good mobility. Part of the reason is you see the sack total there, 27 yards of negative yardage. Part of the reason that Holcomb will get sacked early in his career is he doesn't make up his mind quick on his reads. See, he's still trying to go right, still trying to go right. What he'll do, Paul, as he matures, is he'll spend about a second and a half trying to look for somebody, and then he'll pull it down and start heading upfield. That's just maturity.
This is a very big play for MTSU. The blitz is on. He gets it away. Man coverage on the far side. Shooting for James at the 29, and he let him too far. It's 4th down, and MTSU will have to give Florida State the football back. I say a big play for, with just under 4 minutes remaining in the first half, still ample time for Florida State to make this a 27-7 game, if not more.
You can almost feel the momentum settling down and then going Florida State's way, as it should. The Blue Raiders, excuse me, Paul, Blue Raiders with a lot of heart, though.
Also, Brook will hit this just shy of his 40. He can't get it away. It's blocked. FSU has blocked the punt and fallen on it at the 39-yard line. Clifton Abraham got through there. The man that Coach Bowden and Mickey Andrews were bragging on this week shows us why he's drawn such praise. That's the first blocked punt of the year by FSU, and the first time this year MTSU has had a punt block.
Watch the line of scrimmage. Not an all-out block, just coming from the left-hand side. Abraham comes right up the middle and just blocks it right off the foot of the punter, Alsterbrook. Never even gets the ball up, just blocks it right off the foot. of the punter does Abraham.
Coming up at halftime, we'll visit with Admiral Paul Miller, the commander of the Atlantic Fleet. He is here. Stacy Straces has a great package on Terrell Buckley. You want to stick around and see that. It's outstanding. And all the numbers and the highlights from the first half, and we'll enjoy the Marching Chiefs, too. America's premier marching band in their halftime show at Doak Campbell Stadium. 20-7 our score, 3:48 remaining. Boots Donnelly has his team huddled around him, trying to tell him to hang in there. They've played more than respectably well.
Donnelly said, you know, we're bringing about 70 players, and we anticipate playing all of them. Florida State dressing out 120 plus. He said, but there's 4 or 5 of them that's really irritated me. They're going to start, and they're going to play the whole game against these guys.
Not going to let them out. No matter what happens, you can't come out of the game. He was joking with the media earlier this week. He said what he really liked about Doak Campbell Stadium with his little bitty players coming in here against big bad Florida State is that it was real close to a hospital. All tongue-in-cheek. Weldon sets up the screen, and Sean Jackson can't make a tackler miss. Nearly did. Gained maybe a yard. 2nd and 9. 3 receptions on the year for Jackson to go with 228 yards on the ground.
Jackson, a big back, 220, gets wrapped up there and butted by number 88 for MTSU.
Demetrius Smith, the defensive end.
Smith, the defensive end, and down he goes.
Eric McGill replacing Reggie Dixon at guard for Florida State. To the far side, Fryer at the 29-yard line makes the catch. It's 3rd down. Matt Fryer playing behind Shannon Maker, moved from the split into the flanker position today. Keith, this is a nice grab.
Talked about Fred McCall earlier. Here's another guy in that mold. Great moves, great hands. Had an unbelievable career in high school over in Live Oak. Had his troubles early on this year. Hasn't caught the ball well early, but has come on here of late.
Needing 2, Weldon again upstairs, this time incomplete. Curious call on 3rd and 2. Needing but 2 yards. It has to be 4-down territory. That must be the thinking here. This deep at the 31, 32-yard line.
Casey said, come on, get the play in. Let's go. 2 minutes and 28 seconds left here in the 2nd quarter.
Fourth and 2. MTSU gets the ball back. That blocked punt is all for naught, and Weldon's going to throw. And it's knocked down incomplete. The flag goes down. Let's wait and see. Flag goes down. Hold the fort. With 2:24 to go. Very late flag as well.
No foul.
You know, they're going to call. We listen to the referee here.
Interference call on the defense. Well, disregard it. The ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage. Disregard the flag. 1st down this way.
One of the little rules is that when the ball is tipped at the line of scrimmage, watch a defensive player get his hand up right there. Once the ball's tipped, there is no such thing as pass interference. So therefore, the flag's waved off.
Lenny Luskin looked to be knocked it down. Boots Donnelly's team holds Florida State 3rd and 4th down when the Noles need but 2 yards. They don't get the first. The block punt is meaningless.
Both times Florida State choosing to go to the air versus the ground in order to try to convert.
All right, down by 13. Let's see what Holcomb can do. Steps up, guns. He has his tight end Dark for 8 yards to the 39-yard line. The clock runs. Dark, 6'2", 200 out of Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Patience by Holcomb. We've talked about that sometimes to a fault. Steps up, delivers the ball, picks up 8.
That's the 8th completion today for Holcomb. The 3rd catch by Dark. Inside give. Daylight, running room, Crowder to the 40-yard line. 1st down, MTSU. Terrell Buckley on the stop. Let me take you back to 1989. Keith, the opponent was Georgia Southern from Statesboro, Georgia. They came in and played this well against heavily favored Florida State, and they were a 1AA ball club as well.
Simple dive pattern, a couple of missed tackles, and Crowder just heads up field, all 5'9", 190 pounds of him. Out of Carrollton, Georgia, just a junior.
Number 1 gains 21. Number 12, then Holcomb chucking it deep for the end zone for James. Incomplete. James had a step. Florida State opened the scoring. Weldon 4 yards to Baker. Mowry has kicked a 23-yard field goal. Amp Lee has scooted a couple of yards for a score. Mowry a 31-yard field goal. That's the 20 for FSU. Joe Campbell with a 29-yard jaunt for MTSU. Yeah, the extra points, and we have our score. They have never beaten a Division I team, has MTSU. Not likely to today, but playing more than respectably. We have said that. Holcomb, look at all the time he has. Now the little jump. Oh, Campbell leaves a defender in his way, and Dinkins, and comes within a yard of the first down. Take Dinkins right out of his number 89.
And that's no small feat. Dinkins a big man, but very quick and very agile. Campbell a small man and much quicker and much more agile.
1 minute and 5 seconds to go.
Kind of a shot-put basketball pass by Holcomb. Watch him just step inside of Howard. And upfield he goes.
Campbell is going to make our all-opponent team this year. He's right up there with the number 21 we faced in Ann Arbor, Michigan, Keith, that the Noles faced. The name of Desmond Howard.
You know, oftentimes at these smaller schools, you've got these great athletes that just don't get the publicity because the teams are just not looked at by the national media. These kids will come out and they'll hit pro ball and they'll do real well, and you wonder, well, where were these guys in college? And where they were at was a smaller institution where they were performing just as well, but nobody knew about it.
It is first down and 10 yards to go, 60 seconds and counting. And MTSU score before intermission. Dark is open. Dark has the first down at the 19-yard line for MTSU. Ken Alexander, the linebacker, on the stop. First down, Blue Raiders. And I don't know that seeing is believing. Seeing might be disbelieving. The poise of the Blue Raiders to the sideline. Caught? Yes. 16-yard line. Vince Parks. The high jump champion and the high hurdles champion is Parks for MTSU. In the Ohio Valley Conference, he's quite an athlete. He's had a couple of big grabs today, and in fact, for Parks, that was his second catch for 26 yards. Down the line option, Holcomb. Florida State left him little choice, Keith. Everybody else well defended.
Florida State slanting to the wide side of the field. The offense is right. Holcomb with nowhere to go and nowhere to pitch.
Sterling Palmer wrapped up the quarterback. We have 25 seconds to play. FSU trying to get players off the field. James out of bounds. 12-yard line. 2 yards shy of the first down. I don't know that the Noles, with MTSU quickly back up to the line of scrimmage, got everybody off, but they weren't penalized for it as they shuffle between their base defense and nickel package.
Again, Blue Raiders going to the wide side of the field. James one-on-one with Terrell Buckley. Buckley having to respect a little bit of room there.
11 completions for Holcomb in this first half for 111 yards. 17 seconds to go. 4th and 2, and MTSU wants to talk about this. Bruce Donnelly came all the way down to the 20-yard line to get the timeout. There's the strength coach, Doc Crease, walking into the picture, the man in the gray T-shirt. That's the final timeout for the Blue Raiders of the first half, and the question has to be, do you take 3 and make it 20-10, or do you try to get a score?
No, I think you have to go for the touchdown. If you are playing for respectability, you kick the field goal, you go in 20-10, but a 2A school coming into the #1 ranked 1A school in the country, you want to get over the hump and try to do something. Even if you don't win the ball game, you can always point back to the time with 17 seconds left. We scored against Florida State to go 20-14. And I think that's what Boots Donnelly and his staff will try to accomplish here.
Four-time Ohio Valley Conference Coach of the Year. His team has won or shared the OVC crown in each of the last 2 seasons. And he has elected, has Boots Donnelly, to let Joel Alsobrook attempt what would be a 30-yard field goal angle to his left. So he is going to take...
After I get through with that tirade, he goes for the 3.
Of course he did.
Boots and I are in sync here.
His Blue Raiders are playing as well as they can. For Petrelli, just under 30 yards away. He kicked it through with 14 seconds to go. 20-10, Florida State leads. But the team that has been most impressive is the Silver and Blue from Murfreesboro, Tennessee. They're going to remember this 3rd Saturday in October for a long while. Homecoming here gives us an opportunity to pause and reflect on great moments in FSU lore. Remember that 1987 season, 1988 campaign too for Sammy Smith? He had a 200-yard rushing day in the Superdome against the Tulane Green Wave. Number 33, Sammy Smith in garnet and gold. Talked about homecoming in Seminole country.
Hi, this is Sammy Smith of the Miami Dolphins. It was a great thrill to play under one of the finest college football coaches in the world, Coach Bobby Bowden of the Florida State Seminoles. I'd like to take this opportunity to wish them the best of luck in their pursuit for a national title this year, and also the best of luck in the rest of the season and their homecoming game.
We wish Sammy Smith the best of luck, too, as he tries to get back to full speed.
Sammy Smith, Coach Bowden called him the Ferrari. When he's tuned, he runs fast. I'm just not a good mechanic. I can't keep him out of the garage.
McMillan and Smith for FSU. This is chopped at. No fair catch this time by Gilmer. He's going to field it at the 40, and down he goes. The first 2 times that he had fielded that kick, he'd called for the fair catch. This time elected to run it at maybe a yard. Chris Harris on the tackle for MTSU. That took but 2 seconds. He'll talk all week long, Will Gilmer. Yeah, you know, I caught it in the sun, made a couple of moves.
Tell you what, had he gotten free, there's very few people on the field that would have caught him. Very, very fast, this Steve Gilmer. See the scoring drive there, 8 plays, 57 yards, a little over 2 minutes. MTSU opts for the 29-yard truly field goal.
Timeout taken by Florida State. 12 seconds to go, Keith. I don't think they had all 11 men on the field. As you see, the 3rd Saturday in October in Tennessee. This actually played at Legion Field in Alabama, won by the Crimson Tide. The man who was late arriving for Florida State was Eric McGill. So you've had a substitution problem. You've had holding calls. You've had dropped passes, missed assignments. From Bobby Bowden's perspective, he has cause for concern. On the other side of the football, Boots Donnelly cannot be any more proud of his ball club than the one that has played the first 2 quarters today. We invite you to join that Prime Network game of the week. The Baylor Bears and the TCU Horned Frogs. Interesting to note, Baylor found itself not ready to play, or at least not at an emotional peak. Got beat by Rice a week ago. Sean Jackson with time expiring inside the 45 to the 42-yard line. And Florida State has called timeout again. Mike Jordan, yeah, you led Florida State. Now they're about 1 play, Keith. You let them gain about 10 more yards here, and Maury's on to attempt a long field goal, and you've got a chance too. 1 final play to, well, you only got 4 seconds to throw it into the end zone.
Yeah, look for Florida State to try to break something. Although Coach Bowden's history when he's in situations like this has sometimes not been to throw the ball downfield, but to try the screen or the draw or the hide route and get it in the hands of somebody that can move and let them try to create or make something happen.
John Eason, who has an earned PhD, an excellent educator, is Coach Eason, who tutors the wide receivers, talking to Kevin Knox, Matt Fryer, along with Shannon Baker, Kez McCorvey. not the Fab Four. But these guys are starting to come into their own, too. And I say not the Fab Four simply. I'm not comparing ability level, just different people from a season ago. They had to replace the entire receiving corps.
They were talking in an article in the paper this week with Kevin Knox about the nickname or a nickname, and he was very blunt. He says, we're not good enough yet. He says, let us get some more experience under our belt. Let us eliminate some of our drop passes. Let us get a few more receptions, and believe me, we'll come up with a nickname. It's just not time right now.
One final shot for FSU. 4 receivers, you see trips. The bottom of your screen now. Weldon looking for the big play. Launches it very, very high for the end zone. Will they catch it? No. The half is history. That one worked against LSU a year ago. Does not work today. Florida State leads 20-10. We're at intermission here at halftime. And our halftime show is next, filled with the Marching Chiefs. We'll visit with Terrell Buckley. And Barry Milligan, too, will report from field level. More from Doak Campbell Stadium. In just a moment, we have Barry, however, standing by with MTSU's Boots Donnelly. Barry, he has to be proud of these first 2 quarters for his ball. Still be a possibility. We're at intermission. Back after this from NCNB, the National Bank of Florida, the Lone Source.
They're grads who did indeed make good, and one of them with me now, Admiral Paul Miller of the United States Navy. Welcome home.
Barry, thank you very much. It's good of you to have me down with this tremendous band in the background. I had the opportunity to come back to Florida State for the first time in many years. My last time here was when FSU beat the Naval Academy in 1978. But I enjoy coming back every time.
Well, you have a lot of great memories, though, of Florida State football, having been a student here in the early 60s and seeing guys like Kinsey and Bolitnikoff.
Right. It was a tremendous football program then, and Florida State has been able to build on a real solid program. Lots of tradition now. And when I see the largest band of any college in the nation, when I see Renegade going up and down, it's tremendous to see the pride and the spirit that goes on here. Florida State has shown their skill, and they've shown their tenacity this season, and they're building a football tradition that's going to last an awful long time.
You must take great pride in that, as well as your job, which is commander of the Atlantic Fleet. You were telling me 225,000 people who are, in effect, under you. That's an incredible responsibility.
Well, I'm very, very fortunate to have the opportunity to command the Atlantic Fleet. It is a force of about 240 ships, 225,000 sailors and Marines. They're great young American people, and when I go to sea with them and I operate with them, it's just exhilarating, and they perform a great service to our country.
Admiral Miller, welcome back. As I said, once again, thanks for being here at halftime.
Barry, thank you. It's my pleasure.
All right, and when we come back to Campbell Stadium, we'll visit with the Marching Chiefs here on Homecoming Saturday. Stay with us.
Into the 21st century with the National High Magnetic Field Laboratory. Renowned scientists, a strong liberal arts tradition, and trend-setting programs, a caring university. That's Florida State University.
Today's Florida State Seminole Player Profile with Stacy Strazis is brought to you by Old Milwaukee Genuine Draft Light. Real draft beer without the kick.
Ever since stepping onto the Seminole side, Terrell Buckley has been a star with flashy punt returns and entertaining interceptions.
A lot of defensive backs just want to stop the receiver from catching the ball. I'm not satisfied with that. Not only am I not satisfied with just making an interception, I like to run with the ball after I catch it. It reminds me of my Pee Wee days when I was playing tailback. Score. That is the first thing that goes through my mind.
when I get the ball in my hand, score at all costs. You know, fake people out, run them over, run bound, whatever it takes, score.
Number 27's showboating style has been compared to that of his good friend, Deion Sanders.
When we just call that confidence and giving the fans their money worth. You know, tickets are $13, $20, sometimes $30, and they work hard during the week to come and see a ball game, and we just try to entertain them.
Even more than wanting to see his name on the scoreboard, Terrell Buckley wants to see his name on the big screen.
What do you want to see today?
General Buckley.
General Buckley. Yes, can I have 2 for General Buckley? Why, thank you. They're free? Thank you. I'll bring you more business next time.
The future actor hopes to hang his star in Hollywood with fellow FSU football players Burt Reynolds, Robert York, and Danny Green.
Would you rather win an Oscar or a Heisman Trophy?
Well, I would rather win an Oscar and be really amongst the stars like Bill Cosby, Cher. I would like to play the gangster type, because as a gangster you don't have no rules or limitations. If you're looking at this, Bert, give me a call. Well, I like to watch the fashion shows, specials on CNN, because I really wouldn't mind walking up and down modeling the new styles of clothes that had just came out.
But most of Terrell's TV time is spent studying Spike Lee and Western flicks.
I wouldn't mind if they would make it into the Magnificent 8, put me along in there, letting me showboat a little bit. I believe in doing the right thing, you know, things like I don't drink, smoke, anything like that. I attend class. I received the best advice from 2 people, my 2 girlfriends, my mother and my sister. They really understand what I'm going through and the trials and tribulations. When you do the right thing, do what you're supposed to do, it keeps you out of a lot of trouble. And it makes you feel real good when you know you're doing the right thing.
Terrell feels so good, he wants the Seminole sod he stepped onto just 3 years ago named after him.
Now it's Doak Campbell, Buck Campbell, Buckley's Palace, Buckley's Place. I wouldn't mind if they do that.
Well, not likely, but at least he knows the reviews say 2 thumbs up.
We thank Stacy Strazis and Terrell Buckley, perhaps a future superstar. There are close to 500 stars down on the field at the moment. One of college football's greatest bands. And here for homecoming, 60,000 rise as the Marching Chiefs are set to play the FSU alma mater. Let's listen in.
City.
Chief, Abner, how'd you get involved in all this competition?
Well, I was advised by my role model and mentor, Dr. Keith Jenkins. He told me that he felt that I would well represent FSU, and he encouraged me to submit as a homecoming chief candidate.
All right, well, congratulations indeed. And now to the more beautiful side of things. Sandy Leff, the homecoming queen here today. Sandy, a great day for you. Did you ever think you would be the homecoming queen?
No, I didn't. I think it's a wonderful opportunity to represent the school. It's a terrific school, and I have a lot to be proud of.
You said this has been kind of a hectic week for you. What all's been going on leading up to, of course, the homecoming game?
Well, there was a parade yesterday, and we were in the parade, and then last night at the powwow, and then tonight. It's just been a lot of fun.
All right, Sandy Leff, and Abner Devilon, the homecoming queen and chief here.
Seminoles lead 20-10. The score through the first 2 quarters of play, Middle Tennessee
down that it's going to be a long one. Baker with the reception here. I say he catches it. You say he doesn't.
No way.
The official agrees with me. Florida State 6 points.
That was the big play.
He does it so well and does it so often, right into the end zone, untouched.
Let's take a look at the numbers now. Is on the tee. Dan Mowry is ready to kick it off. And we are set for the final 2 quarters of football. End over end. This will be Dunson from his goal line. He has speed, but no hope. The 17, the furthest point he will reach. Ken Alexander, the reserve linebacker. On the stop, we mentioned Keith Jones from 1980. Look at that. Nice baby face look for a guy that was a tenacious headhunter. How could you look so nice and polite there, Keith?
Coach,
to be such a terror on the field.
Coach Bill McGroth, the sports columnist here in Tallahassee, called it the choir boy face. That is an old photo, by the way, guys. I don't know where you drug that up. That's number 26. That's my freshman year. I wore number 26, didn't go to 28 till I was a sophomore.
And when Keith Jones played, and since then, FSU has never been beaten at homecoming under Bobby Bowden. First handoff for the second half goes to Walt Crowder, working the inside. Marvin Jones, the inside linebacker. We haven't called Marvin's name a lot today, Keith. There he is, Shea Tree, number 55, the second leading tackler for FSU. He makes the stop to open up the third.
There's a very simple reason, not a lot happening inside. MTSU going outside a lot. You see the passing and rushing comparative statistics there. The Blue Raiders doing more than holding their own against the number 5 ranked defense in the country.
Kelly Holcomb, the freshman signal caller at quarterback with the eye, and Crowder and Campbell. Play action to Campbell. He fires. Caught. Steve Dart. 6-yard gain, a lead him 1.5 yards shy of the first down. McCorvey, the right cornerback on the boundary side for FSU, hauled it in. That's catch number 5 for Steve Dart. Having a big day in the sun.
Dark, again, we've mentioned 17 catches coming in, dragging all the way across. Holcomb getting the ball to him, and McCorvey has to come from the corner position back inside to make the tackle. Brings up third and about 1.5, maybe 2.
Important snap here, too, for MTSU. They have to maintain possession, keep FSU on the board. And in motion to the near side, Dunson, quarterback feeling the heat. This is caught for a first down by Campbell at the 30-yard line. What a grab. That ball was high and behind him, and yet acrobatic Joe Campbell out of the backfield hauled it in. His 4th reception today, and the quarterback at Holcomb picking up where he left off. That's his 12th completion for number 12.
Holcomb flooding the zone and rolling out. Dunston running upfield for a curl. Campbell sneaks out, runs into the flat. Wide receiver does a takeoff. You can't cover them all. Not anytime soon, anyway. They converted for a 3 or 4 or 5-yard gain in the first down.
Actually, his 13th completion for Holcomb. The deep drop now on first down sets up the screen. Crowder, the fullback, gets a block and is run down from behind by fleet-footed Reggie Freeman. Freeman, maybe 240 pounds there, number 97. Oh, don't let that fool you. He's awfully fast. 240 pounds, closer to 250. And he ran down the little guy in Crowder.
Good pursuit. Freeman gets upfield, deep drop, and has to turn heels and work back. Campbell can't get accelerated. Freeman catches him from behind, but I tell you, he'll talk about that in the film on Monday. Look, I got him right there, guys. He can't run away from me.
Gain of a long 3. Four-man rush. Holcomb guns open. James first down midfield. And down to the FSU 49-yard line. He was wide open in front of Terrell Buckley. Was the junior from Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia. 6 feet tall, 170. And Holcomb is hot. He is a perfect 4 of 4 to open the second half.
Buckley in zone coverage is supposed to have help underneath. You see James run him off, and the underneath help doesn't get there quick enough, and MTSU converts for the first down.
That's a gain of 17 yards. 2 yards, 6 yards, 4, 3, and now 17. They're ripping up the field are the Blue Raiders from Murfreesboro. Campbell in motion to the far side. Inside give to Crowder, who gets a couple. Call it a yard where they mark it here. Henry Ostazuski, number 74. On the stop. See the defensive scheme there. Ostazuski is on the field for FSU. Number 56 to his left is Sterling Palmer, the sophomore outside linebacker. James Chaney over the football. Carl Simpson, the end of this side. Dinkins, the other outside linebacker. Carruthers and Jones working the inside. Buckley, Fowler, Brown, McCorvey, the four-man secondary on second and a short 8. Play action. Holcomb. Look at the time he's got. Caught again. Steve Dart, the tight end. 41-yard line. Gained about 4.5 in front of McCorvey.
Florida State laying back in their zone coverage, not bringing pressure, not blitzing, not man-to-man coverage, laying back in the zone in their base defense. Holcomb showing good patience in order to deliver the ball, good line protection, and they're just executing.
Gain of 6. There's a Floridian on that offensive line, number 72, Mike Nihill. It's an offensive line that is really the strength of this team, and the fact that 4 guys are seniors and the guy that's a junior is an All-American. And McAdoo, the left tackle. The toss to the near side, Campbell. Darts outside, first down, 39-yard line, or close to it. Buckley pulled him back. And he says, no, he didn't quite get there, says Terrell. You like that piece on him at the half? Stacy Strays just did a marvelous job of putting that together, and Campbell is hobbling.
Just a toss sweep action. Good picket line there by Florida State. Brown and Jones move up, and Buckley doesn't get out faked and brings him down, but not before Campbell gets so close.
Maybe. Should the official look at it?
They're going to give it. Oh, they're going to take it away.
He started to pump his foot, didn't he? Or pump his foot, his arm. The referee, Courtney Mousy. It looked as if he was about to do the first down tomahawk. First down.
One link short. We mentioned being 2 links short earlier. 1 link short.
Buckley Conley working that sideline over there.
Buckley, very well spoken, very articulate athlete. Calling on Burt to give him a call. Burt needs someone of his caliber.
FSU kicks in. MTSU trailing 5-10. Here's the roar of the crowd, needing an inch to earn a fresh set of down. Holcomb probably has it, although not by much. Appeared to surge behind Tracy Majors, his 3-year Letterman senior center, number 55, and Nihill, that fine senior guard from Niceville, Florida.
If the quarterback gets any forward momentum at all, more times than not, they will give him the first down in situations like that. The spot on this particular one, kind of questionable spot. Yeah. The near judge had him a little bit further along than the referee on the other side, but he made that 1 link and a couple of 3 extras in his first down.
He got no help from the officiating crew. Did Kelly Holcomb. Boots Donnelly has given him an earful. Started today the scoring on that official's judgment that Baker held on to the football. Kevin Knox that he talked about over the middle, did he catch the ball or not? This is the 10th play of a drive that opens the second half for very impressive MTSU, trailing 20-10. James in motion. The toss comes back to Campbell. Oh, the defense has him hemmed in, but he gets away and turns it into a 3-yard gain. Carruthers shoved it out of bounds. How did he get away from that defensive pressure?
Nothing but speed, something Florida State's been living by the last 4, 5, 6 years. A lot of people getting stacked up. Dinkins does a good job working upfield, and he just runs around everyone. The key to playing a player like this, 11 rushes, 75 yards, is you've got to take a conservative pursuit angle. You've got to take an angle that will take you farther upfield than you think you need to be, because his speed is a lot better than you probably originally gauged.
From the near side hash, high set blitzes on. Holcomb, guns. Reading a key, finds his tight end in Dart for only 2. You see the blitz coming, and that freshman quarterback is keying on something down there, Keith. Whenever he sees him coming, he's looking for the tight end. Just get it away.
What happens at this level is you have automatic keys. The quarterback will key a blitz. The tight end and or the wide receiver will have to key or read the blitz, and they just know what to do. There's no check off. You just get rid of it quick with what's called the hot or the red routes. Everybody's got to read, everybody's got to execute in order to make that work.
Third down situation, 3rd and 4 at the FSU 33. Rolling, Holcomb, heat from behind, and down he goes. A blitzing Kirk Carruthers. Sack number 5 of the afternoon for the Garnet and Gold. Even with Holcomb running away from him, the senior from East Lansing, Michigan, made the play.
Brothers comes from the outside. He had blitzed the play earlier and couldn't get there. This time he comes from the outside. Holcomb a little too late trying to get upfield, and Kirk runs him down.
The leading tackler for FSU coming into this game, nearly 400 career stops. And also Brooke, who has killed 8 punts this season inside the 20. Will pooch it in a moment. Took the delay a game call, perhaps. Give him some operating room. Delay a game. Is he trying to play the angle there, Keith? Make it easier for himself, more probable to pin Florida State deep?
I don't know so much that as that he just had a little confusion about getting it away. This certainly is a penalty that does not hurt you. Alsorbrook proven earlier in the game he's got a great leg.
Dead ball, delay of the game on the offense, 5 yards, still 4th down.
The last time Alsorbrook attempted to punt, he had one blocked. His average when he got him away, excellent, 3 kicks, 52 yards. Now just trying to kill it in the quarter and keep it away from dangerous Terrell Buckley. He gets this one away. Buckley runs up. The ball rolls out of bounds at the 7-8 yard line. Alsorbrook, uncanny. Put it in there perfectly. Only 35 yards, but bullseye, right on target. More from Doak Campbell after this for Old Milwaukee Genuine Draft. Real draft beer without the kick. What a kick. The State pinned inside its 8 yard line. Casey Weldon goes to work, as does Amp Lee. 21 yard line already for the Amsters. In the first half, Lee rushed for 20 yards on a half dozen carries. He picked up at least a dozen there before the cornerback Jamie Redmond cut him down.
When you're backed up, you do your best thing. You give it to your #1 ball carrier and just fire straight ahead. Lee doing a good job of picking a little bit of a seam and then having a missed tackle or having someone miss him and moves upfield, picks up 13, 1st down Florida State.
Casey Weldon hit only 2 of his last 7 passes to conclude the first half. Let's see if he's hotter in the second when he goes to the air. Right now he doesn't need to. As Lee races out to the 35 yard line, and we check in again with Barry Milligan.
Thanks a lot, Paul. You know, all over the country, the term tomahawk chop has become almost a household phrase. I'm not sure who came up with that. Probably some marketing person in Atlanta or Kansas City. What it's called is the Seminole War Chant. And as Marvin Gaye once sang, ain't nothing like the real thing, baby. And that's what they do here at Campbell Stadium. The real thing. And that's the Seminole War Chant.
Got the right one, baby. Barry here in Doak Campbell. Edgar Bennett off the right side. Florida State's opening possession of the second half, and Edgar Bennett in the first 2 quarters of play, only 8 yards rushing by Boots Donnelly's inspired Blue Raider defense.
You've got to like Donnelly. All the quotes we've talked about, all the things that we've alluded to. You got to like the Blue Raiders. Right now, Edgar Bennett not real happy with them.
2nd and 7. McCormick along with Baker. Twin set to the far side. Inside handoff Lee. Lee uses his blocking very well to race out across the 40 to the 45, 46 yard line. 1st down Florida State. Robbie Baker at center for Florida State. As Robert Stevenson, who opened at center, has moved back to tackle. We mentioned a player from MTSU and Mike Nihill anchoring that Blue Raider offensive line. You see that he and Danny Lawrence, who starts on the defensive side of the football, join those other fellows playing for FSU from Nashville. Weldon hit. It's ruled an incomplete pass, his arm going forward. They teed off on him.
Pretty amazing when you think about it. Niceville, west of Tallahassee, out further in the Panhandle. 6 kids, 4 from Florida State, 2 from MTSU, playing on the same ball club. In a small town of Niceville. Weldon just waits. Reggie Dixon tries to get around and pick up somebody.
Boy.
Questionable whether it's a pass or a fumble.
That may have been a fumble. Montrell Tony, the sophomore from Nashville, Tennessee. Is this a fumble or not?
You be the judge.
Fumble. That is a fumble. That you've had the completion and the fumble. Baker, got hung out to dry and hammered as well. Mike Caldwell from Oak Ridge, Tennessee, put the hammer on it. That will not make a quarterback popular with his receiving corps. Hanging him out like this.
Caldwell 6'1", 209. Baker 180, maybe. Watch the hit snap back. That makes the highlight film.
Baker hobbling off the field. He's coming over to see Randy Orovitz and the trainer. His right shoulder bothering him. It is 3rd down and a long 9. Weldon to throw. Remember, he was cold at the end of the first half. On the move, buys time. He's come across the line of scrimmage. Throws. Caught. First down, 15-yard line. No flag down, however, although it looked as if Weldon had come across the line of scrimmage. Let's see. Kevin Knox made the grab. The play will stand first down.
I think what you were looking at there, Paul, is it was about 3rd, 9.5 yards. Weldon was across the 10-yard marker where the original first down was, but was not across the actual line of scrimmage marker. They were about half a yard, 2 feet apart. The referee right on it, drops the little beanbag marking where Weldon released the ball, and then he took his sweet time to measure it up and check the sticks. See the numbers there on Knox. Great discipline by Weldon not to go across the line of scrimmage.
38-yard gain to Knox. That's a huge play. And taking some knocks here with the flag down is Amp Lee. Kevin Mancini got into it with the defender, and Chris Burns, a defensive tackle for MTSU, away from the football at the 19.
Of holding on the offense, 10 yards, spot of the foul.
New rule change. The penalty is from the spot of the foul. Mancini was backed up in the backfield when he made that holding. He actually ripped the jersey off of the shoulder pad, the flip pad underneath the shoulder pads of the defensive tackle.
Barry Milligan, that was the 3rd holding call today against the offensive line.
Paul, and I think indicative of the frustration of the Florida State offensive line about how well MTSU's defensive line is playing. There was no need whatsoever for that holding penalty. Amp Lee had already broken through the line. Mancini got into a little one-on-one thing about 4 yards behind the play and was flagged very late for a holding call.
Baker is back into the game, sore shoulder and all. He's to the far side left. Weldon sets up the screen, backpedaling, flips it, pin it, boom, runs through a tackle, runs through, almost through 2, down at the 29-yard line. The man he was unable to avoid is the senior right tackle, Brian Faulkner.
At halftime, Florida State's locker room, we have a report, was a place where Coach Bowden was lecturing on discipline, especially on the defensive side of the ball, but speaking to the offense as well. We're not disciplined. We're not executing. We're just going out there and going through the motions. Not necessarily known for fire and brimstone preaching during the halftime, but talking to this squad about discipline and going out and executing here in the second half.
Florida State needs to score on this possession, and they may be shut out in the 3rd quarter. The slant route is behind. Kevin Knox, just what you said, not executing, not disciplined. Weldon offline. There's less than 5 minutes to go in the 3rd. Florida State has yet to register any points in this stanza, leading, though, 20-10.
Coach Bowden has said all during the year that you can really only get emotionally high 2 or 3 or 4 times during the season, 11, 12-game season. You're only going to be at your peak 2 or 3 or 4 times throughout the year. However, when you're playing the lesser teams, when you're playing teams that you're favored over, you have to go out and be disciplined. You have to go out and out-execute them. Florida State all over the field, not executing well. There's another example. Only 2 of 6, better than 50% on the year.
3rd down here, deep down the field, and Becker for the touchdown! Sooner or later, talent had to prevail. And Weldon finds little number 1, Shannon Baker, who shakes off the big hit that he suffered earlier. Will haul in the score.
We get a good look at it. He comes from the inside slot. He runs upfield and then breaks inside. 3 deep zone. He got 2 vertical threats. The corner can't cover both of them. Leaves Baker open. Weldon converts.
Both Weldon TD strikes have come to Shannon Baker today. Timeout on the field. 27-10. FSU at homecoming in Doak Campbell Stadium. Show me this, buddy. You got it. We welcome you back to Doak Campbell Stadium. You see the score, 27-10. It's Mowry. Puts his foot into it, and this is Dunson from the 10, 15, 20, daylight, 25, close to the 30-yard line. Casey Weldon with a pair of touchdown strikes. Every game this year he's hit at least 2, and here's the second against the Baker.
Good execution of a game plan. Vertical threats, both the wide out and the slot man Baker on the corner, 3 deep secondary. Watch Weldon's reaction. Finally getting it in. Finally getting it together, guys. Finally getting it where we need to. Let's keep it up.
10 plays, 92 yards, 423 the time of possession. Here's MTSU with the impressive young Kelly Holcomb at the helm. Backpedaling. The heat. He throws. Little flanker screen caught by Parks. Parks with the sideline. Parks at midfield. And only a great tackle by FSU's Tommy Henry prevented him from perhaps going the distance. Number 41 in Henry. Just about the last man to stop Parks from going the length of the field as he hobbles off.
A play that Florida State's used effectively. Cheney with good pressure. Holcomb does a great job delivering the ball. Parks coming underneath behind the line of scrimmage. And if not for a great shoestring tackle by Henry, well, who knows?
11 straight completion by the hot quarterback Kelly Holcomb. 1st and 10, the 47. Play game 23 there. Holcomb gets away again. Throws underneath. Caught for 4. On the receiving end was Campbell, the tailback. They use him in so many ways. And Corey Fuller, the corner, made the stop for FSU.
Good pressure. Holcomb just steps outside and delivers the ball. They pick up 3 or 4.
Bert Myers, the fullback now, as Campbell breaks out on the wing to the right side. Needing 6 from midfield. Down he goes. The 6th sack of the day. Sterling Palmer. How do you do? The Fort Lauderdale sophomore. Palmer had 1 sack coming in. He registers.
Comes from the outside, does Palmer. Excuse me. Comes from the outside, does Palmer. Just quickness and speed. 6'7", 242 pounds that can move is Sterling Palmer. Just gets good upfield outside pressure, and Holcomb cannot elude him by stepping up in the pocket. Florida State's defense records their 6th sack.
3rd stop of the day, by the way, for Palmer. 3rd and 14. Following the loss on the play of 9 yards. Holcomb on the option, keeps her. Oh, cracked hard. The FSU 45-yard line. LaVon Brown makes Holcomb's ears ring. And it's 4th down. And punting time for Alsobrook. And for the defense, reasserting itself as the offense did a series ago. It's been a good day for Joel Alsobrook, the redshirt freshman from Tucker, Georgia. He's had 2 boomers of 52 and 53 and killed 1 in the corner. Again, kicking to Buckley. Buckley will have a return from the 12. Juggles it for a moment, comes across the 20, slips at the 25-yard line. And from that point, FSU will have the football when we return. 27-10, our score. Passing for Casey Weldon has helped Florida State to the 17-point lead in the third as we welcome you back. That ground game's loosening up here, too, in the third, Keith. The Seminoles have been pounding on the defensive interior of MTSU. It is a smaller-sized club, as you would imagine. I think they're starting to wear down a bit. Here's Edgar Bennett.
I think they really have. And, of course, the other amazing thing here is Boots Donnelly's offense has kept this Florida State offense off of the field. Florida State only fixing to enter their second play of their second drive of the third quarter, and we've got only a minute 22 left to play.
Bennett earned 10 there. Here comes Kes McCorvey into the game. He replaces Matt Fryer, who will slip out at the split end position. Baker, the other wide receiver. Baker along with McCorvey come to the near side. Isn't that a stunner? Lay the tailback. He'll get the call. He'll lose yardage. Hit hard in the backfield by Chris Burns, the left tackle. So much for wearing out. Burns 6'5", 260, the second leading tackler. Franklin, Tennessee.
You're going to see Bennett go one way and the guard and the tackle pull to come back the other way for Lee, and Burns just moves upfield, some type of pinch or upfield technique that was called in that particular defensive scheme, and nowhere for Amp Lee to run.
Again, Kes McCorvey, the freshman, floats out to the near side. Baker is in the slot following the loss of 4. Second and 14. Screen is the call. Bennett hauls it in, and Bennett cannot run away from an MTSU Blue Raider at the 31-yard line. Mike Caldwell grabbed him around the ankles and held on for dear life. It's third and long. And we are at the end of the third quarter. That'll do it. This one is 3/4 of the way through. And Florida State is but 1 quarter away from extending the nation's longest winning streak to 13 games. 27-10 our score as we step aside for a moment on Prime Network. Tons of time. Throw the great catch, Fryer. Up in it at midfield, and he held on to the football. First down, Seminoles. Fryer is shaken up. He took a vicious hit from 3 separate Blue Raiders. But what's important here is the fact that he held on for that piece of leather.
Took forever for Weldon to get through with it. Great protection by the offensive line. Actually good hold by Casey. Fryer comes down and he's got the ball underneath him, looks like, Paul, up in his chest or his abdomen area.
Jabbar Troutman, redshirt freshman inside linebacker, wears number 9 on his jersey. Made the stop. Team physician, FSU training staff.
Tom Haney there on the right, working there. Looks like they're working the leg. From appearances, it would have been getting the breath knocked out of you or your ribs or something.
As Matt Fryer is helped back to his feet and is walking off gingerly. You'll see Baker with 2 TD grabs today, had 1 in the third quarter. And Holcomb set a new school record at MTSU, Blue Raider fans, firing 12 in a row. And what makes it even more special to him and to the record book is it came against America's #1 team. Yeah, he's okay, says Matt Fryer. I'll be fine. First set it down from midfield. Sean Jackson. 8-yard gain. Danny Lawrence, the left end. Niceville, Florida, number 40. Credited on the snap.
Pitch toss action. Good block by Paul Moore. Jackson turns it upfield. Second carry adds it up to 26 yards.
8 of 9 on the play. McCorvey and Baker balance the field on I formation. Here comes Jackson. Huge hole. Can he get outside? Yes, he can. Roll out of bounds at the MTSU 21-yard line. Sean Jackson could start for any team in America that did not have Amp Lee at the same position.
Watch it from ground level. He's going to come right at you and then break to his right, your left. This is just power and speed, folks. Just stiff arms, runs away from one guy and uses that gift of motor ability. Just a sophomore, 220 pounds that can really do it.
Did it there for 20 yards. Up 27-10, threatening for more. Jackson stumbled and will lose yardage. Dennis Connors fell on him. There is the skipper of America's Cup fame, Dennis Connors, the freshman linebacker. Not really, but the same name.
6'2", 212 pounds. He can man the helm.
Boots Donnelly paces the sidelines. Let's check in again along the sidelines with Barry.
Thank you, Paul. Not too serious on Matt Fryer. Spoke to the team doctors who said it looks like it's just a deep bruise to the left hip. He's trying to walk it off, but chances are, if things continue the way they are now, Matt won't need to play anymore today, and that's good news.
As Connors knocks down Jackson. You know how Matt Fryer relaxes on Thursdays? He goes out to the practice field and puts up an archery target and fires with his bow and arrow. He took a bullseye hit there a moment ago, but he wants to go back in the game.
It relaxes him, but it makes a lot of his teammates nervous that have to be out there.
3rd down and 10. Play action, Weldon. Cox fires, batted away. 11-yard line. Knocked down by Danny Lawrence, intended for Shannon Baker.
Great coverage that time by Jamie Redmond. You probably didn't quite get to see it, but Danny Lawrence knocks the ball away. Watch 40 there on the left, right-hand side coming back to the left. Great coverage, though, by Redmond. There's the tip. Watch Redmond come right in front of Baker. You don't get it, Danny, I will, says Jamie.
39-yard field goal attempt by Dan Mowry to make it a 30-10 game. Plenty of leg. Right down the middle. There's a bullseye again for you. He ought to be out there on the archery range with Fryer. 30-10, our score. Mowry a perfect 3 of 3 on 3-point attempts. Goal of his young career at 39 yards. Hey, you can win a 1992 Subaru SVX Luxury Sports Coupe in the Subaru SVX giveaway on Sunshine Network. Send your name and address to the address you see on the screen. The winner will be drawn December 23rd on the Miami Dolphin Monday Night Magazine, and will receive a 1992 Subaru SVX Luxury Sports Coupe, a dinner gift certificate at the Olive Garden restaurants, and $2,000 worth of Citgo gasoline. You must be 18 years or older to enter. Motoring like a Subaru SVX Luxury Sports Coupe is Walter Dunson. Up to the 25-yard line, William Floyd, the reserve fullback, made the play. 9-play march, Keith. 3:52 capped by the field goal.
We've had 2 complete series on both sides of the field, and we've got 12 minutes left in the 4th quarter. That hasn't happened in a while. Holcomb, 19 of 27, 12 in a row. Can add to that if he continues to stay hot, setting a new school record. Got to be impressed with this guy.
And it came against not a Division I AA club, but a Division I club that's ranked number 1. Dunson showing us that speed. He is the fastest Blue Raider, including Joe Campbell. Dunson, the junior from Carrollton, Georgia, probably the best all-round athlete on this team. He's the one with the plastic visor attached to his face mask. Tommy Henry credited on the stuff.
Dunson is more like an airfoil.
I like that. Get fast enough.
A little ground effect there. 7.4 yards per carry. That's how Walter Dunson does it.
Like Campbell, he came into this game having scored 6 touchdowns this year. Holcomb, look at him dance around. Finally, can't get away. Reggie Freeman and Todd McIntosh trying to chase a rabbit. Briar patch there. Finally got him.
Watch him elude the first hit. Quick feet, stable in the pocket when he has to be, aloof when he needs to be. Finally takes some back pursuit to catch up with him.
Todrick McIntosh, number 2 in sacks, records his 3rd this year. That's the 7th in this game for Florida State. 3rd and 9. Holcomb fires, caught by the tight end in Dart, but not enough for the first down. Left him about 2 yards shy of it. It's 4th down, and MTSU will have to boom the ball out of there. It's 3 downs and out for the Blue Raiders.
Florida State in man coverage underneath. Carruthers one-on-one with Dart. Simply eludes Kirk there, but gets some help from a teammate. Steve comes up a little bit short for the first down.
Big time numbers there, huh? Also Brooke from his 20-yard line. He skies this with a tight spiral. Buckley forced back to the 15. Cuts to his right. 17-yard line is all he'll reach. And from that point, Florida State will own the football, leading 30-10. That is a 51-yard effort. It's had 3 kicks. Has also broke a better than 50 yards today. Chris Harris on the stop. And for those of us who thought we might see Casey Weldon for a quarter and then greet Brad Johnson and a succession of backups and Charlie Ward and the talented Kenny Felder, that has not been the case this afternoon in Doak Campbell Stadium, and that's a tribute to MTSU. Casey Weldon, with close to 300 yards passing, remains in the game. Guns this way, and Fryer just can't make the catch.
Coach Donnelly was talking about Weldon. One of the quotes that came back to Tallahassee, he said, Casey gets hot, we may never touch one of his passes. Casey just a little bit warm on that one. Just a little out of the reach of Matt Fryer.
It's his 2nd best passing day. His best this year was 347 yards against Syracuse when the Noles rolled to 642 yards against the Orangemen in their last appearance in this stadium. So he'll crack the 300-yard plateau, will Weldon, probably today for the 2nd time this year. Here comes Tiger McMillan, hopping through a broken tackle across midfield, still fighting all the way down to the MTSU 38-yard line. Tiger McMillan on a gain of 36. McKenzie and Redmond finally made the tackle.
Watch the quickness and then the foot speed. Great moves a la Amp Lee, and then McMillan just heads upfield, steps and darts back inside of people, runs through arm tackles, and finally gets lassoed on the sideline. Excellent per rush average. As you see the graphic, just a freshman out of Kissimmee.
William Floyd is the fullback. McMillan cradles it again, darts through a hole, the 30, the 25, the 21-yard line. Jamie Redmond, the cornerback, came from the far side to make still another tackle. McMillan, 2 plays, 53 yards and carries.
We saw the other 33 that Florida State fans will remember with this type of output, that being Sammy Smith. You're getting a taste of the new 33, Tiger McMillan.
Lee, Jackson, McMillan, Bennett, Floyd, Moore, Chuckamata with his arms around McMillan. MTSU has called timeout to try and slow down FSU. We'll return with more after this. Now leading 30-10 as we check in with one of the greats named Ron Simmons.
Hello, Seminole fans. This is Ron Simmons of World Championship Wrestling and former 3-time All-American at Florida State University. Of course, I need to tell you that because I'm probably forgotten by now, I'm sure. But no, I just want to really just say congratulations to Coach Bobby Bowden and the Florida State football team on a wonderful season. And guys, I wish I was there to celebrate in on the victory because you're doing a great job. And if this is the year for Florida State, I'm going to be right there with you in spirit all the way. Once a Seminole, always a Seminole. Go for it.
Oh, man. Ron Simmons, whose jersey number 50 was retired here by the Garnet and Gold, making millions now as a professional wrestler. William Floyd on the carry. There's Bobby Bowden. I saw a clip of Coach Bowden when he was hosting his own television show before Gene Deckerhoff joined the set, carrying a microphone, interviewing Ron Simmons. That was a great piece of video.
Let me tell you something. Ron Simmons came here in 1977 as the savior and ended up being it, and arrived in about a 1971 Volkswagen Super Beetle. But it did have mag wheels.
The Beetle was probably smaller than him. Tiger McMillan turns that corner. He's into the end zone for a score. No, 1 yard line. Oh, the crowd didn't like that. They wanted to roar again. Adrian Owen stopped him just inches shy of a score. Well, even though Florida State is rolling toward what will be apparently still another touchdown, there have been more one-sided scores today. McMillan, fresh, healthy. That was a touchdown.
Looked like from that angle and that replay it was. Tiger's going to get up and plead his case, but the officials say no, he's down. It'd be first and goal on the 1.
Much like football teams, officiating crews cannot be perfect each and every week. Loose ball. MTSU has the football. Scott Boykin recovered it. It bounced right off of Tiger McMillan. The pitch hit him between the threes.
Florida State number 8 in the country in turnover margin. Already an interception and now a fumble. Hits him right between the threes. See him take his eye off of it. Just took his eye off the ball. Hit him right in the breast pad, right there in the shoulder pads on his chest there. Falls to the ground.
You know how things balance out? That balances out the Shannon Baker touchdown on the great scheme of justice for Boots Donald. 30-10 for the fumble that wasn't called against Casey Weldon. New quarterback, O.J. Smith. And O.J. has one of his backs get squeezed in Walter Dunston at the 2-yard line. Second down. Time remaining. A little under 9 minutes to go.
Florida State with their number 2 base unit in there, but the crowd up on their feet. Seminole War chant wanting to hold them. O.J. Smith, 5'11", 180-pound junior. Only thrown 3 passes.
O.J. Simpson from Smyrna, Tennessee, injured his knee against Boise State in the NCAA playoffs last year and has seen very limited duty behind the freshman in Hawkeye. The crowd is roaring. Can Dunson get out of the backfield? That should be a safety. Where will they mark it? There, it's finally a safety. Well, it's been a rough day for the crew. Nice play defensively for FSU by Eric Smith, the reserve outside linebacker.
When's the last time you've seen a defensive unit in their 7th ball game that has already recorded their 3rd safety of the year?
And scored 3 touchdowns. Watch this. Questionable call, the deep pitch in the backfield. Yeah. And Dunson can never get out of there.
You don't like the call down there, you don't pitch the ball back in the end zone.
Well, when we return, MTSU will be kicking off to Florida State, trailing 32-10. As the Noles have recorded their 3rd safety of the season, Brad Johnson looks to be coming in a moment after FSU receives the free kick from MTSU. It was Eric Smith tackling the Raiders' Walter Dunson in his own end zone. For the 5th point of this quarter, here comes Terrell Buckley off the punt. Buckley can scoop, midfield and upended. Dunson, the man stopped in the end zone, made the tackle. 30-yard return for Terrell. And we'll have a new quarterback in Brad Johnson. On in relief of Casey Weldon with 7 minutes and 59 seconds to go in the football game. Brad has been suffering a bit from the flu this week, as a number of Seminoles have. 23 years old as he is.
Didn't even mention that both Kirk Carruthers and Jones, neither one of them practiced Tuesday or Wednesday. Brad's been suffering from the flu as well.
At the MTSU 49-yard line. Little Marquette Smith The fourth tailback to carry the ball for Florida State today makes the stop, and Kez McCorvey is entangled with the Blue Raider defender and Kerry Jackson. Away from the ball, no flags thrown, no harm done. Gain of 8, maybe 9. Second and short. There is Marquette from Castleberry, Florida, the 5'7" darter. Look at that stunner. Vanderbilt and Georgia. The intended receiver, William Floyd.
Floyd just trying to sneak out of the backfield. Johnson a little high on his pass. Florida State now 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1. Another look. Simple throw out to the flat. Not a very pretty pass from Johnson, and a little high to boot.
I don't know what they put in the water in Nashville in Central Tennessee. Boy, Vanderbilt plays well. MTSU has held its own. What a great week for football there. The Vols are the only ones who let them down, losing to Alabama. First down. The Snakes move forward. Look at that. Can you do that, Keith Jones?
Well,
you dance like that?
Well, I don't think it's a question whether I can or not. I think it's a question whether I would or not.
I'm sure you would. They'll be doing that tonight at the Rod Stewart concert here at Homecoming. Maggie May. Every picture tells a story. That may have been Maggie May. Brad Johnson chucking it deep for the end zone. Incomplete. Looking for a guy who already has made 2 TD grabs today in Baker. What an arm Brad Johnson has, but there was excellent defense by freshman Chad Smith, the free safety, to make the play.
As you mentioned, great coverage. Johnson airs it out well, about 50 yards in the air. Number 26 there, Kerry Jackson, in great position.
Was Kerry Jackson rather than Chad Smith, my mistake. Here's Kerry from Sweetwater, Tennessee. Johnson looks things over now, does Brad. 2nd and 10. Marquette. That little guy's not afraid to lower his head and go into the pile. Demetrius Smith. Left in, the freshman on the stop. One thing Boots Donnelly is doing here, Keith, he's playing his reserves on the defensive side of the football, letting each and every one of his players experience playing in Doak Campbell Stadium against the top-ranked Florida State Seminoles.
Well, you've got to remember, again, this is the number 7 ranked 1-2A club in America. Finished last year number 1 in the country in the polls. Nothing for them to hang their heads about.
Perfectly set up. Marquette with a nice grab. Look at the block. Isn't that well done? This will be a touchdown. Textbook perfect. For all the X's and O's that have ever been drawn, no play was ever executed more perfectly than that one. A blueprint for success. 38-10.
Just watch the blocking. Linemen get downfield, get down on the ankles of people. Great job by Fryer. Marquette does a great job of just following people. Brad does a great job of throwing it. I think everybody just did a great job, Paul. What do you think?
Demetrius Smith, the injured Blue Raider. The 2nd touchdown this year for Marquette Smith. And that is the 4th touchdown pass this season as well for Brad Johnson. The extra point, when kicked by Jerry Thomas, will propel the Noles to the 40-point plateau with 6 minutes and 11 seconds to play in the game.
You see Marquette, there's some talk about redshirting him. They used him sparingly on kickoffs. Then he got hurt, didn't play for a couple of weeks. Coach Bowden said, man, this guy's an impact player. We've got to find a way to use him when he gets healthy. And I think you saw a good example of Coach Bowden's confidence and hopes for him for the future as exhibited by that particular screen reception and touchdown.
It took the Noles less than 2 minutes to score once they had regained the football following the free kick. And here is Jerry Thomas He's been impressive today, booting extra points. Bobby Bowden saying his top priority in shuffling his kicking game was to nail the PATs. Dan Mowry had missed 8 this season, as Demetrius has helped on the sideline. So they brought in another guy from Niceville, Jerry Thomas, who's been around the program a while, a walk-on to handle the PATs. He's performed flawlessly. This is his 4th today inside the upright, and it's a 40-10 football game. A beautiful day in Tallahassee, and the scoreboard, if you're a Seminole fan, is painted garnet and gold as well. Barry Milligan down on the field. We welcome you back for the final 6 minutes and 11 seconds of homecoming. Brad Johnson making the alumni and young grads happy with this.
Watch Marquette Smith pick up his blockers downfield, just scoot outside, then inside, then back out again. As you say, that'll make the technique film. That's how we do it, guys.
Oh, perfect. Coach Bowden will like that. 39-10 our score. Thomas, as we said, with the point after. And Mowry sends it tumbling end over end. Dubson already at the 25-yard line. To the 30, right up the middle of the field. LaVon Brown on the stop. One of the great wide receivers in FSU lore, Ron Simmons, who visits with us now.
I see my former teammates all the time, and we reminisce about what Florida State meant to us, not only playing football, but also the education which it provided. And I feel that I was very, very fortunate at 6'4", 155-pound freshman coming out of high school, being able to go to a major university like that and play. I'm glad that the University of Florida said that I was not major college material, so I couldn't really go to Florida State and the University of Florida and play. And I just want to say hello to all my friends, and I really look forward to a great season and wish Bobby Bowden and his team a lot of luck. Thank you.
Ron Sellers, better than Ron Simmons. Sean Luckett, a freshman fullback. We said earlier that Coach Boots Donnelly was playing everybody now with the game decided. Well, one of the downsides of that is you'll put in a guy, in this case, that may not be ready for this level, and Sean Luckett drops the football.
Great hit downfield. Corey James, number 71 for Florida State, seeing his first action today, pounces on it.
6 plays, 49 yards. Johnson to Marquette Smith. Incomplete. In and out of the hands of the intended receiver, Omar Ellison. And a flag is down. And by the way, that wasn't a 34-yard run. That was a 34-yard pass completion for Marquette Smith.
Florida State guilty of some backfield motion, illegal procedure.
Illegal motion on the offense, 5 yards, still first down.
We saw Ron Sellers a little earlier. His coach, Bill Peterson, said, I thought he was too skinny, too fragile at first. And then he became the greatest wide receiver I'd ever seen. 1966, beating the Gators 21-16. He's a member of the Football Hall of Fame. Here's Ron Sellers. Johnson on the roll. Nice. 14-yard line. Throwing the ball. Less than 6 minutes to go, and up 39-10. It's a first down, and the gain on the play is of 16 yards.
As you mentioned, Boots Donnelly playing a lot of people, Florida State playing a lot of people. Brad Johnson to Kevin Knox, number 15 for the Blue Raiders. Marquis Tate in on the tackle, but not before Knox completes it or catches it for the first down.
First and 10 at the 15-yard line. Inside handoff, and here's Clyde Allen, the 5th tailback to carry the football today. That guy may be the 6th. He may get in there. We have had Lee, Bennett, Jackson, McMillan. Hey, wait a second. That would be he would be the 6th.
There's what the backup backs have done. 132 yards between the 4 of them.
Knox has had a big day catching the football. Half dozen grabs. That was nearly intercepted. Wouldn't that have been a disaster? It had gone the whole way the length of the field had it been caught, intended for Brad Lundstrom. Nearly picked off by Kerry Jackson, who would have had nothing but 80 yards of green grass in front of him.
MTSU coming with a blitz right up the middle. Johnson makes a good read, as does Lundstrom. Delivers the ball just a little bit behind. Brad does his FSU circus act, juggling act with it.
You know, Brad Johnson and Casey Weldon every Thursday, they go to the putt-putt golf course and free-for-all putt-putt games there. Brad trying to knock this putt in here. Floats it into the end zone. Fryer is there and it's batted away. The back of the end zone. Nice defensive play for MTSU by Tommy Johns. Make that Marquis Tate rather than Johns. Another look, number 15 in the back of the end zone.
Brad floats this ball a little bit more than I think he would have liked to. Fryer was open, but by getting the ball, getting air under the ball, getting it up, allowed Tate, number 15, time to close, forcing Florida State to attempt the field goal.
Can Mowry go 4 for 4? This from 29 yards away. No, hooked it left. Still been a 3 for 4 afternoon for the young freshman from Tallahassee and Lincoln County High School. The score remains 39-10. Coach Bowden has really worked with Mowry's confidence to try and retain it when he struggled with BATs. Just about the score of today's game, isn't it, Keith?
Very much so. We've talked about it. Coach Bowden's 15-0, soon to be 16-0 at homecomings at Florida State. Overall, 44th homecoming game, Florida State stands 34-8-1.
On first down, again, O.J. Smith at the helm. He turns, and the inside handoff to Luckett, who had fumbled earlier, and Luckett earns 6 yards. And the clock rolls. Steve Gilbert on the step. For Florida State, the Noles will take to the road when this one's over, playing at LSU next week, and in 2 weeks they'll be in Louisville before returning home in 3 weeks to face South Carolina. For Middle Tennessee State, next week it will be homecoming. And the opponent, Southeast Missouri State, the newest member of the OVC. Again, Luckett on the inside handoff. Smith keeps. Good bit of play faking. Around the corner, across the 35 and up to the 39 as we go downstairs. Here again is Barry Milligan.
Well, Paul, you gave us just a hint of the schedule there. Middle Tennessee finally getting to go home next week for homecoming of their own. They've played 4 of their last 5 ball games, of course, including this one on the road. Giving up a home date to come to Tallahassee gave Middle Tennessee 8 road games this year. To repeat anything like their great season of late, they're going to have to do well on the road.
The 5th first down rushing today, Barry, off the carry by O.J. Smith, first and 10 at the 39. He throws underneath. It's caught right back to the line of scrimmage. On the receiving end is Sean Luckett. Oh, who could this be? Speaking of former Seminoles at homecoming, hasn't he won an Emmy or 2? He's at the West. He's on the West Coast today. He and Lonnie could not make it. Very busy out there with very successful Evening Shade and its production. Clock runs, 3 minutes and counting. The pitch. Turning the corner, fighting toward midfield is Kippy Bayless, the tailback, across midfield. Ball came loose. The play blown dead. Steve Gilmer, another hit for FSU. Well, put this one into perspective, Keith Jones. Size it up from Bobby Bowden and his staff's perspective.
Well, I think Bowden and his staff is going to be happy with the win, although I don't want to be at practice Tuesday. Ronnie Andrews, Richie Andrews' son, up here helping us in the booth. Tuesday's probably going to be one of those back-to-basic days.
Whereas Boots Donnelly and the MTSU Blue Raiders should be the toast of the town when they return home to Murfreesboro. They have played so very well. Long heat, incomplete. Intended on the play for Kurt Watkins. The reserve split in. O.J. Smith threw it like O.J. Simpson. Chucked that one all the way to the goal line.
Corey Fuller, number 28, back on coverage in good position. Watch him get up in the air, go for the ball, watch his eyes and his hands. He'll take some ribbon Monday. Should have had it, Corey, should have had it.
2nd and 10 following the incompletion with 2.5 minutes to play. What will be FSU's 7th win of the year? They remain unbeaten at 7-0. Oh, what a hold. Lowering his head, working the right side, Sean Luckett. Near the first down at the Florida State 40-yard line. If you're MTSU, you're thinking, hey, 39-17 is not a bad score.
Exactly. MTSU approaching over 300 yards in total offense, averaging 405 coming into the ball game today.
If there is victory in defeat, that has been the case for MTSU this afternoon. Have held Florida State under 40 points. Needing a yard. Luckett gets it. Cincinnati came into this stadium a year ago, Keith. Florida State scored 70 against them. Knowles have put better than 60 on the board a time or two against the likes of East Carolina and Louisville.
Folks were thinking that today might be another one of those games, but certainly the Blue Raiders have shown why they're the number 7 ranked 2A team in the country.
1st and 10, 1:20 to play. And counting. O.J. keeps the ball, goes back the other way, and pays the price. Running around.
You see O.J. running around. Of course, Kelly Holcomb had a great day. One of the quotes that Boots Donnelly had that I thought was the best was he was talking about Kelly Holcomb, who had to face this ferocious number 5 ranked Seminole defense. He said, we're not showing Kelly the film. So we are showing him films, but it's of another team, and we're just telling him it's the Seminoles.
Now, this would be tragic if O.J. has been injured again. We mentioned the knee that he had received in the Boise State game. As Boots Donnelly, you see on the left, Bobby Bowden on the right. Boots has set this in his 3rd quarterback today. Working on the knee as well.
Those are, that's the site, those types of injuries that you don't like to see. Let's see if we can get a look at it. Pay attention to the right knee. You can get it bowled under him right there. Ball actually gets fumbled. He rolls back over it. The brace, I believe, Paul, if I remember correctly, is on his left knee. His left knee was his troublesome knee. But they appear to be looking at his right knee.
Does not look good, does it? Last year, Phil Ironside was an all-OVC performer. He got hurt. Smith came in. He got hurt. Dino Stafford had to have eye surgery. Plus, Boots Donnelly came into this game, into the season, with a freshman quarterback in Kelly Holcomb. But that freshman has played well.
There's the tail end. O.J. making his way very slowly off. Boy, you don't like to see that happen.
Second down and 13. We have our 3rd quarterback of the afternoon, Dino Stafford. West Point, Georgia. Under center. Scrambling around. He looked as if he wanted to throw, and he's going to lose huge yardage. Chris Cowart bulldogged him down by his jersey, just flailed him down. Back at MTSU country at the 47, 48-yard line. They'll mark it at the 49. With less than 25 seconds to play, it's a loss of 14. MTSU's record will stand at 4-2. The Noles win their 13th in a row, their 15th straight in this stadium. They are unbeaten with Casey Weldon as the starting quarterback, and they are 7-0 on this season. On the final play, it is incomplete, intended for the wide receiver, Kurt Watkins, guarded by Clifford Abraham, and that'll do it. Homecoming 1991 is history for Bobby Bowden. I'm sure he's glad to see in terms of football it having ended. But he will have a great deal of respect for the gentleman right there with whom he shakes hands. Boots Stanley has been masterful with the one-liner, with preparation, with getting his team physically and mentally ready to play. More from Doak County after this on Prime Network.
The Georgia Southerns, Middle Tennessees, they can play this game no matter who they're up against.
Well, they got every incentive to come in and beat you. You know, I mean, they're fired up, and our kids are lackadaisical, and I think you have to hand it to Middle Tennessee State. Their kids played harder today than we did.
Does that bother you? You know, you have said, and it proves so true in games like this, it's just so hard to get up. You're coming off of a Michigan, Syracuse, Virginia Tech run, and it just stands to reason you're going to be a little down.
Well, it won't bother me if we do something about it next week, but if we do this again next week, you beat. You know, you get beat.
An interesting situation now, LSU having a down season, but traditionally a very tough team, especially at home, and now being on national television.
Everybody's tough when they play against number one. Everybody wants to beat number one. And every time they put it together, it'll be against number one.
I know at some point, too, probably a little bit of concern that you couldn't get Brad Johnson in there in the second half. I know you've wanted to play him a little more, but having Casey in there in the number one unit was a necessity for a while.
Yeah, we didn't execute good. Our passing and our receiving and our general offense just has not been clicking lately. Maybe we can get it back together.
Well, once again, though, once you get down to the third string, how about Tiger McMillan coming in and really igniting the crowd and the offense?
Well, Tiger McMillan did, and I was hoping he could score a touchdown. He took the ball down to the goal line, and then we fumbled. I wish he could have scored.
Well, the bottom line is, though, you're now 16-0 in homecomings, and we're still undefeated here in this season.
Well, yeah, we won the big stat. That's the ball game. I wasn't too happy the way we did it, but we still got the number one thing, and that's a win.
All right, congratulations. Good luck next week. A tough game, as Coach Bowden said, next week, going to LSU down in the Tiger Den, Paul, to play the Tigers.
The Tiger today was from MTSU and how well they played. Nonetheless, Florida State is unbeaten at 7-0. Keep an eye, along with Barry, will return in a moment on Friday. This capacity crowd of better than 60,000 fans heads home now, or at least back to campus for an evening of festive enjoyment here at homecoming for the 24th time in 26 weeks. There are 26 games in this stadium. Florida State is a winner. 39-10, our final once again. The Noles over the Blue Raiders of MTSU, and we'll return to wrap it up on Prime Network in just a moment. MTSU and Florida State on Prime Network has been brought to you by Old Milwaukee Genuine Draft. Real draft beer without the kick. By Goodings, Florida's finest supermarket. It's got to be Goodings. And by the Olive Garden Italian Restaurant, where all the best of Italy is yours. For the 7th time this season, Florida State is victorious. 39-10, our final today on the tree-lined campus of FSU. As we welcome you back with Keith Jones, I'm Paul Kennedy. If Middle Tennessee State slips at all from that 1AA poll, I'll be upset. There is no justice in this world.
Really not. If anything, they should move up from that number 7 ranking with the showing they had here in Tallahassee today.
FSU will be moving up to play LSU next week in Baton Rouge, and they'll be taking a number of weapons there to that game. Marquette Smith was the star of the second half, wasn't he?
Really was. Third or fourth team, depending on who you talk to, but this is a first-team play. Textbook screen, takes it up the left-hand sideline, cuts back inside, back outside. Excellent blocking downfield. Put 6 points on the board for Florida State.
Nice moment for the offense. Defensively, 8 sacks, too. A safety. Defense played at times well today. At least the numbers point you in that direction.
Third safety of the season, as we commented. Been a long time since I've seen that here or anywhere else.
And in terms of the total offense, 295 yards against FSU. The Noles with close to 600 today.